And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week number 5 of the VCS. I'm Spoods, not every day, but joining me, as always, are Yulwei and Vinnie here on the desk. Gentlemen, we are now currently halfway through the VCS summer split. How are we feeling about it so far? Vinnie, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, well, we definitely came into it with a bit of a shock in the fact that nothing went as we expected. But
Yeah.
as after that, first week or two of not knowing what's going on, we've sort of everything's going basically a lot more as we sort of expected. We're seeing we have a clearly defined teams of in at least 3 tiers of strong, medium, and weak. But yeah, I think we have a good grasp on what's going on now. So
Finally. Took some time.
finally.
For sure. Yulwei, what do you think?
I mean, we still have some banger matchups today to close out the round run, so we can't really get to too many conclusions before that is done. But yeah, Cerberus very impressive, and EVO's pretty bad. I think the main takeaways.
Yeah, for sure. But let's zoom in a little bit really quickly, and let's have a short recap of week number 4, because we've seen some interesting matchups in week number 4. We saw quite a banger match of the week as well. We saw CES making some interesting substitutions. What do you think? What do you think of the week, and what do you think it's gonna how it's gonna impact the rest of the split as we go forward? Yulwei?
Yeah, we had one very big surprise in my opinion, the Team Secret against GAM series, where I think we all agreed that we thought Team Secret would win, but then they kind of just ended away the last 2 games. So now everyone is at 4-2, and we have a very close second place race. Team Secret, of course, still ahead in game score, but it's getting closer there, and they play in the second series today. So I think that one was the most important one for the standings. Plus, percent losing to EVOS really confirmed that EVOS is back, and percent is a little bit on a downwards trajectory now.
Yeah, Evil is definitely back, but still has quite a little bit of ways to go before they actually hit that rank 1 that everyone was positioning for them to go for at the start of the split. But Vinny, what do you think of week 4? I mean, very interesting week so far.
Yeah, I think Yulwei basically touched on it. Everything went about as according to plan, except for the GAM vs Secret series and the Percent EVOS series. And yeah, Percent really showed their weakness in draft, even in the Cerberus series, where game 1 they got a really nice draft and they played out really well, but game 2 they kind of just. I'm thinking of the Secret series in week 3. Never mind that. Percent just drafted badly and threw it all away.
Yeah.
We saw weird picks like 𝗯𝗿će, and we saw a complete misuse of 𝗁𝗏𝗺 set, which I continue to rave about.
Never stop.
But we saw a nice bit of resurgence from EVOS. We saw a decent resurgence from Flash, even though they're still a bit shaky. So the teams we expected to be at the top are coming back. And that showed last week.
Yeah, and coming back is, I think, how we should put it, right? If we can briefly take a look at our power rankings right now, we're updated for the middle of the split. We also have a comparison to the server averages for, I believe, week 1. So definitely an interesting dynamic on how the race has shaped up so far. What do you guys think?
We discussed our power rankings in detail in our podcast episode, of course. So if you're interested in that, go back and watch that. It's an hour-long discussion. Just to quickly summarize, we were we agreed on most spots. I think the most contentious ones are 3 through 5, where Vinnie is higher on Flash. I'm a little bit lower on Flash. I'm higher in EVOS. And Everywhere was especially high on GAM. So I think those are the few things we don't quite agree on. But overall, it's pretty obvious.
I mean, Everyday had you claimed that you had GAM number 1. So, very interesting there.
Everyday did mention that the GAM height was more a indictment of the coaching of the rest of the league, where GAM is managing to still get away with just being better players and getting picks they really shouldn't be getting, like Jace. So I can see his logic. I see his logic there, and from what I understand, he actually has them a little bit lower in overall, but it's just to prove a point GAM is 2.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to learn more about our power rankings, feel free to jump onto YouTube and watch the podcast episode, as Yulwei so kindly alluded to. But now, let's look ahead. What are we expecting in this week? Throw up the predictions really quickly. You guys will be able to see what our lovely five heads over here, as well as Elfin, have come up with for predictions this week. Vinny, why don't you start us off on this one?
I think clearly we are all pretty much in agreement, except Elfin here is looking for the big brain play of Flash taking down Team Secret. Other than that, I mean, we can talk about percent Flash later in the week because that's going to be, that's going to happen on Sunday. But yeah, we're pretty much all in agreement. Every day thinks GAM can flip a game today, but yeah, it's looking to be a short day today.
Yeah, and the question I have right now, and the question I have right now is, not only in this week but as well as the previous week, you guys have had zero faith in OPG. So much as to say, so far as to say that I have basically deleted OPG, the square from this folder, and I hope you don't predict him anymore, so I have to make it again. But still, is there any possibility at all that OPG managed? Is there any chance at all that they managed to pick up a match?
This week is the last week they can hope for, in my opinion, because they play the two other worst teams standing wise. They play against 𝗂𝗏𝗏 and %. So if they can't win a series this week, it's not going to get easier from here on out. So this week would be the perfect week to predict OPG, and I was very close to predicting them. I still feel like it's the safe call to not go OPG, but it is possible this week against either team. I actually think they have some. They looked a little bit better last week compared to the week before. They had some things going for them, so there is a chance they take maybe 2 games of % or 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏. So yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, last week and the very first week of the VCS, we actually saw some decent play coming out of OPG, but weeks 2 and 3 in particular, they just looked so very lost that it's really hard to put them above 8. That said, they're still a VCS worthy team. They're not like, oh, can we get rid of this team and bring in someone else like FTV tended to be? But yeah, someone has to be the bottom, and they're very clearly it.
Right. So overall, the gap isn't as big as some people might think it is. I think it's a fair way to put it. But let's jump forward. Let's talk about our very exciting match of the week that we have. Match number 1 of day number 1 is going to be CES versus GAM Esports. A very, very exciting, explosive match that I am very excited to witness. What about you, gentlemen? Yulwei, what do you think? Is GAM going to take it away?
No, they are going to get stopped in 2 games here. But this is going to be the ultimate test for Cerberus, of course. They are still undefeated on their actual lineup, even with Pun. Of course, they played 𝗂𝗏𝗏 and who is the support again? 𝗂𝗏, right? 𝗂𝗏 for 1 game for no reason whatsoever, and they got stomped in that one by 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏. So all their stats are messed up now. Every side has their stats for the whole team now, and you're like, meh, please give me my stats. But yeah, I think Cerberus is incredible, and they will show GAM who are the new kings of the VCS.
Save the narratives for in-game. I know you and Everyday have something interesting going on over there. Vinny, what do you think? Are we in agreement here, or what?
I do think it'll be a 2-0, but I don't think it'll be just like a complete stomp because player strength, like in pure individual strength, you look across the board and there's only like 2 positions where Cerberus is like better individually. So I think, and historically as in the past few weeks, the weakest point has been the early game for Cerberus, and I think they will probably have to fight back from deficits, but I think they've got a much better understanding macro, so they will probably it's lose lane, win game.
Lose lane, win game. All right, but now that we've all right. No, please.
I would push back a little bit against that because looking at Cerberus, I think their early game has gotten way better in the last
Right.
few weeks.
Yeah,
They
it's-
started week 1 as a bad early game team, but now they actually have very respectable early game stats. They have the best early game rating over at Oracle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. You
Yeah.
back? Welcome back. It's all right.
With yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
run
that's
up here
how I
and
got
play.
it.
We should hit those.
It happened to me a couple of times as well. Mostly in the first week. Sometimes it's because it's true. You need to change the header to week number 5. You might want to do that.
Oh.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Going great. Never mind. It's I'm not running production this time. Every day is doing it. We're trying something new. Hopefully not too many more hiccups. Everybody's still here, by the way. He's gonna be doing screaming in game. But now that we are back to us, I think let us continue on, as Everyday would say, crack on, and let's talk about our two of the most important players that I think we should be focusing on. This match is gonna be 𝗀𝗨𝗃 versus 𝗧𝗓. Let's talk 𝗀𝗨𝗃 first, since his team is most likely the one who's gonna win. Yulwei, why don't you start us off? Do you like this player or not?
Oh yes, I like this player a lot. He has improved so much from last year, where I called him the worst support in the league in the last summer split.
Right.
He was very bad, but he has improved so much, or gotten back to form, and now he's looking like the best support again. He is a playmaker on Bard, 5 games on Bard, 5 wins on Bard, incredible games. Think back to 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗄. So he is just bringing so much to Cerberus. He's one of the main engage tools, and it helps Artemis get to his items where he can shine and carry. And even if Artemis has an off game, he is still there to assist his team. So I'm really impressed by 𝗀𝗨𝗃, and I think he'll dominate the matchup today.
Yeah, let's take a look at his stats. He has the lowest gold share, right, of anyone in the league at 10th place, 12.9%. Yet he's still pulling up these amazing stats. Vinny, how does he do it?
I mean, if you look at, well, first of all, he's a support, so he's not expected to get a lot of gold share. But if you also look at the champions he's been picking, he's playing a lot of playmaking, roaming support. So he's not sitting in lane. He's going around. He's trying to get his team ahead. He's apparently he's not taking any of the kills, so he's doing good there. Meaning everyone's getting all the golds going all the way. But in his position, he's got the highest gold per minute. So even though his gold share looks really low, he's got the highest gold. He's getting the most gold out of any support.
Everyone on servers gets a lot of gold.
That's
Even
true.
the support
I
can have a
mean,
little bit of gold.
Yes, yes. So I think a lot of it comes down to his playstyle, where he's not really like sometimes. A lot of the times he's roaming. He's not in lane, and he's still getting quite a bit going for his team.
Yeah, but going up against him in this game is going to be 𝗧𝗍. What do we think of this player? How do we think 𝗧𝗍 is going to be doing against the likes of 𝗀𝗏𝗃? Because we've seen that 𝗀𝗏𝗃 can be a very, very strong player. How does 𝗧𝗍 stack up against that?
So
Yulwei, let's go with you.
No,
Vinnie, carry on. My bad.
Sorry,
Carry
okay.
on. Take it away.
So when 𝗧𝗍 is on his game, he looks like one of the best sports in the league. He's had a few off games, but those are few and far.
Mhm.
And you have to look at this guy and wonder, why was he on the bench last split? Because he is easily a top tier support. He is smashing it on a lot of champions. Now we have the Set as his most played with a really low win rate, but that's because it's Set and no one's drafting Set properly. Set is really counterpickable and people keep first rotating it, so we'll ignore that for now. But even then, he's doing a lot for his team. He's got high kill participation. He's doing what he can to match up to it. Now, KDA is quite low, and so is kill participation due to the way GAM plays the game, which is a lot of sort of solo kills out of 𝗬𝗪 and 𝗬𝗪, very, very top side focused.
Right.
But 𝗧𝗍 is putting in a lot of work on keeping that bot side relevant, basically.
Okay. Yulwei, I'm sorry I have to cut you off, but we do have a draft going on right now.
Oh.
If we can just really quickly swap over to that. We're going to miss a few bans, but I'm going to let you guys talk about them. Graves is banned. I'm sure Yulwei, you're very happy about that.
Well, I mean, I'm happy he's not in the game. I'm not happy that he's prioritized this highly still, because, well, I am not the biggest fan. Those who always had some very good Graves games, they still want to go for Karma first pick, even though Graves is gone. So maybe indicating an 𝗚𝗏 follow-up. 𝗚𝗏 Karma, of course, very strong. Could also just go to the support position and give 𝗬𝗏𝗏 a very strong hyper-carry position. That is not a bad idea either.
And with that flex potential to the sports position, I would hate in my bones to see a Set here, because Set against range supports is just asking to lose the game. However, we have seen Cerberus isn't going to make Everyday mad, as they have banned the Jace, and this is interesting. It's interesting that the Renekton priority is so early, but this is a good sort of pick first rotation for GAM. I probably would have liked to see a Thresh or a jungle pick instead of the Crocodile, but I'm not unhappy with that. That's a good foundation.
I actually really don't like the Crocodile here. Of course, it's a pick away for LL. He has played a lot of Renekton games, and it's an LL, not Pun, so you don't really expect the confirmed to be Karma solo lane. So we don't really expect the on with LL in, because Pun is the on specialist. But GAM has played a little bit more counter-pick top lanes, like Jax for Kiaya too. So I really expected them to go counter-pick, last pick top lane again here. Instead, they first pick the Renekton, which is a little bit strange to me.
Hey, go the Karma top lane. Karma used to be, a counter-ish into Renekton and Darius and those sorts of champions.
So,
go for it now, haha.
But 𝗬𝗪 has, this might be a long shot, but 𝗬𝗪 has played Renekton mid. That was paired with a Jace top, and they sort of just double flexed it. But there is that potential for the switcheroo if they really want to go for that.
I like this 𝗚𝗏 ban. Yeah, I want to
Yes.
point out this Olaf ban is very
Yeah.
smart into Karma. Actually, don't like to see the Thresh this early on for Cerberus. I feel like they should have picked the Olaf now and still have the flex potential on Karma. So you basically draw bans on Thresh anyway. So this pick order is not the best in my opinion for Cerberus.
I also don't think you needed to go Aphelios here
Yeah.
because they can only ban 2 of Aphelios, Kalista, and Varus, and then you just pick whatever's left. All 3 are good, and then and if they want to throw 80 carry bans at you, then you also get no laugh if you didn't end up picking it here. So I think the Aphelios Thresh, while it's an understandable and not a bad pick and not bad pickups, they could have been picked later. And
we have the
Yulwei's
support
smiling 'cause there's a
matchup.
blood.
Hard.
We have
That
the
is
support
gonna
matchup of
tie
the
in.
VCS.
That is gonna tie in very, very nicely to something we have in store for you guys later. But that is a Bard coming through, and that does mean the Gragas is gonna go into the jungle.
Oh, what? You just pick Kindred into Gragas?
Hmm.
Are you serious? What?
I mean,
well,
hmm.
that is the classic
So-
counter matchup. Interesting.
Excluding the obvious ult counters ult thing, it
Yeah.
does sort of make sense with the Karma mid lane as just sort of
Yeah, of course.
another buffed up 80 carry.
Right.
And we're gonna see Dia maybe go back to one of his specials.
Ooh.
And
They-
we are
but-
gonna see Dia go back to one.
But
of
Oh,
his
Cerberus
boy.
basically did this to themselves, right? If they just went for Olaf in the first rotation at a different support, this wouldn't have happened. Now they had to pick Kindred because there isn't really a good jungler with Karma mid lane in meta, other than Graves, Olaf, and Kindred. So they had to get Kindred here, and now it's Kindred into Gragas. So I feel like Cerberus kind of played themselves here in this draft.
They
I
certainly
feel like
did.
I feel
Oh.
like you could have gone Volibear actually. As weird as it sounds, because
Maybe.
a very, very fast Volibear is not something to be snuffed
That's a good
at.
point. That's a good point.
And then you would have opened up maybe a carry for your top laner instead of going Ornn into Renekton, which is a rough matchup at best.
Yeah, for sure. And now we've seen, this interesting draft come through. Yulwei, what do you think? Is this gonna hamper the hopes and dreams of Cerberus fans all around the world? Do you think, it's gonna make it so much more difficult for them to go up against GAM that they might actually lose the first game of this round because of that Kindred pick?
They could lose. I would still favor their 5v5 though. In this composition, they have very strong front and back line. They have good. They have 2 80 carries with Karma to buff them up. So I feel like their 5v5 is still super strong, and they should just win through team fights anyway.
Right, for sure. We are going to be jumping in the game very soon, which means every day is going to come and steal my job. But Yulwei, I'm going to let you have the first prediction. Who is going to win this game before Vinnie jumps in with his thoughts?
Cerberus.
Okay, very nice answer, Vinnie. Why don't you try to give me a longer answer?
Yeah, so while there are definitely holes in Cerberus' draft, it's not really a bad enough draft that'll completely throw it away. So if they can weather the early game storm that they've sort of put themselves up against, they should be okay when it comes down to 5v5 team fightings, which is their biggest strength. So I'm going to say Cerberus, but if GAM's going to win a game, this will be it.
All right, if GAM's going to win the game, this is going to be it. But for now, I've got both of your takes. Will CES be able to keep the win streak, or will GAM get through the acceleration gate and take the win? Cheesy, I know Everyday wrote it, but right now, we are in game, so Everyday and Yulwei, take it away.
Thank you very much, Spoods. Thank you as well for covering for me. I did need a bit of a night off of camera, so I appreciate you coming in. And I'll have you know, I wrote that line assuming Jace would get picked. It's not my fault you decided to use it when he's not there. But Yulwei, welcome. I missed having a chat with you before the game, and I'm pretty excited. You are flaming this Kindred pick. I actually like it, personally. I think it makes a lot of sense in the comp. Because Gragas is actually only a soft counter to Kindred. It's actually not that bad. Yes, you get knocked out of your ult, but you still can't die to the barrel. That's the big thing. It still blocks, like, if you're low, it still blocks the damage, which is what matters.
Fair enough.
Go ahead.
makes her a little bit more accountable, though, right?
Yeah.
Because usually Kindred can kind of wait with her ultimate and then use it in a very, very bad position for the enemy, and then that usually delays the team fight. It's not quite as easy to use it. And we actually, I want to immediately jump to this because it's on screen right now. Look at the shrines placed here by Bard.
I was about to bring it up.
So, of course, after this game, you're going to see a little bit of Bard analysis, but this is something I've been looking at. Bards in the VCS tend to start W and give their mid laners 2 or 3 shrines to ease their laning phase and give them a lot of extra HP to work with. So DR1 is now able to play very aggressively, and that's, of course, exactly what this champion wants to do. We have seen him so much on this Tristana, so I expect big things from him in this game.
Yeah, but I think Cerberus had to know that the Tristana was coming. We saw so many DR1 bans. They removed the Jace in the first rotation. Finally, someone's just taking that away and making GAM play a different team comp. They also banned Lucian and Silas in the second round of bans. So I think they had to know that Tristana was probably what was going to come out. Maybe he would have gone back to his Nico, but it didn't really fit the comp. So I think Cerberus knew what was up. And, I mean, they've opted into losing lanes, but it's Cerberus. I think that's fine.
Yeah, and honestly, the lanes aren't that bad. I feel like every lane is kind of a losing matchup. Mid lane should be fine. It's just Karma neutralizing the lane. And bot lane should not struggle too much either. It's Thresh, Aphelios. They have a lot going for them. So I feel like Cerberus should just fall behind slightly in lanes, but not enough to really cost them the game.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, as I will just need to run off for a second. One thing I forgot to do while I was doing production and screwing it up was put Rakan in his other cave. So can you just fill for 30 seconds?
Of course. So we haven't really seen much action so far. Sadly, that was timing-wise not the greatest, because I struggle. My internet is struggling once again, sadly. So I can't really see what's on screen right now. But every day will be back soon, of course. Rakan a little bit too loud in the early game. But we should be very excited for mid-game team fights, as there's a lot of tools in either team's arsenal to start fights on, of course, for Cerberus and Thresh as well. Welcome back.
I knew I could afford to go AFK for a bit. It's a Cerberus game, which means you actually get to do your job. It's always nice.
So, here we are, 4 minutes in. There hasn't really been much action, and Levi has been able to keep up in CS with Kindred. But Kindred, with a free early game, is not the worst. I didn't actually catch if she got her mark, because I had to reset something.
I'm not
sure.
So
we have to wait for the mark to be shown on stream. But so far, yeah, Cerberus is just neutralizing lanes. 300 gold lead for GAM, that's to be expected, but there's a wave crashing into top lane, so that's at least 200, 150, 200 gold, and Cerberus is still pushing in. So yeah, this small little gold lead will definitely persist, but it's nothing really to worry about too much. And we should look at it, what objectives are in the eyes of both of the teams.
Ooh, there's our first magical journey, but the stun does not land. And the lantern is taken. Very well done by Artemis. It was really hard for Slay to land that Cosmic Binding. There we go. First play attempt.
Very nicely done.
Quite work out.
And Levi was there.
Oh, if it had landed, he was
They
dead.
wanted. But of course, Thresh is also on a very high win rate support. we saw why. He gives so much safety to the hyper carries. Now Zuha wants to get in with his first gank in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think that may end up just being a walkthrough. There's no real kill potential Kindred at this early stage, taking on the Tristana with just a Karma as backup. Also, she did not get her mark. She must have lost the 50-50. Fortunately, we do see her counter is still at 0. That feels bad as a Kindred when you do get one of the scuttles, but it's just you just lost the coin flip. Very unfortunate. Levi.
Next one will spawn top as well. Levi is setting. LL is level 6. So this is a hard dive to pull off. They have a lot of damage between the two of them.
They do.
So
there's the Predator being popped. Here they go, and they've just pulled it off. It's so clean, so much damage, and first blood will go to GAM. Traded for a Drake.
And on a huge wave as well. So this means a plating and so much experience denied to LL. It's even risky to teleport back immediately to the turret. So he might. I think he can do it though. I think it's possible. Yeah, there we go. So at least he'll catch the second half of the wave, but he lost so much. And now look at the gold lead. It's already at 2k, 1 kill and 2k gold lead for GAM, looking very strong in the early game.
Yep, absolutely. That was a textbook dive. We do know that 𝗖𝗄𝗃 and Levi have coordination that is the envy of many mid-jungle duos. And that one, yeah, it might have been a hard dive if LL had been able to get the ult off, hit some knockups. But in the end, the GAM players managed to navigate around that perfectly. That is a big top lane lead.
He didn't even try to flash or anything. Like he didn't even force a flash from GAM at all. So they can just repeat this. We saw how easy it was. There was no problem whatsoever to kill the tanky Ornn, who isn't really tanky at this stage of the game, of course. So yeah, why not just go there again? You can now flash engage with Predator as well. Something to actually point out, it's Predator Gragas again. We saw a little bit of Predator falling out of favor after the changes, but now after another buff, it's actually back in the meta, it seems.
Yeah, I think it also makes sense in this competition where you do want to get ahead early. It makes those early ganks very explosive with the speed. I've always found it funny that one of the best Predator users in the game is Gragas. As a fat guy myself, I can't run that quick, so I'm very jealous.
Wait, that's why he needs a rune, right?
Yeah,
he can't run that quick, so he actually needs some magic assistance to run that quick. It makes a lot of sense.
Fair enough, actually. That you've explained it. I love it. But we'll have to see what Cerberus have to answer back. Now, we did see they took the first Drake during that play topside, and now they have grouped for the Herald, but it looks like it could be a 5v5 around this one.
𝗖𝗘𝗏 is not 6. He cannot assist with an ult from far away, so he's not there yet. The reset timing better for Cerberus' bot lane. This should just be a free Herald, but GAM is still looking to contest.
The tunnel is up. Slays come out. The first 𝗚𝗏𝗏𝗏 turret. There is the enchanted crystal arrow. Instant cleanse out of Artemis. The ram hits absolutely nothing, but Levi goes down. There's the Kindred ult, buying them so much time. They need to find a way away from 𝗖𝗄𝗃. More CC. Here comes Dia1, but the chakrams are rolling. The Herald was already secured, and 𝗬𝗏𝗏 flashing a little bit early. 𝗁𝗏𝗏𝗏 goes deep. LL gets stunned up. Yado charging forward. 𝗖𝗄𝗃 tagged, but everyone lives.
Look at Artemis hitting every single ability. He had some very bad games last week with his Aphelios, and now he's back in form. He's actually our best Aphelios player if you disregard the last week. This will mean Cerberus back into the game. Look at the gold lead, almost closed already, and they have the Rift Herald to get even more gold. Very strong team fight, as we can see later on in the replay, of course. But there were some concerns for GAM already shown here for the late game that are quite relevant for late game team fights, I should say. So Dia1 wasn't able to get in. 𝗖𝗏𝗏 was kind of zoned away. Let's look at this. So look at the instant cleanse, as you pointed out on cast, nicely done. And Artemis in such a good position. There's no way for the enemy team to get on top of him. Perfect Kindred ulti as well. 5 members get the heal from their team, so Cerberus able to really maximize the potential there. There was another flash on 𝗖𝗏𝗏, and 𝗁𝗏𝗏 even gets out after a very aggressive dive. But that was such a well-coordinated fight from behind. Cerberus knew exactly how to play their battle lines, and there was no way for 𝗖𝗏𝗃 to get on top of Artemis. So this is already a little bit of foreshadowing for the rest of the game. And now GAM needs to work on a plan to come back, or how they overcome this kind of teamfight setup.
Absolutely. And this is a great start here. Often when we talk about the Shelly bargain, do you give up the Rift Herald to let your Aphelios hit a tower? Look at this. Cerberus have got the best of both worlds. They've got the Aphelios and the Rift Herald. So they are absolutely chuffed at this one. It was a very rough first couple of minutes, that dive in the top lane. But this is Cerberus we're talking about. 𝗖𝗏𝗃 is on the hunt, though. There's a magical journey. 𝗁𝗏𝗏𝗏's in a lot of trouble. He can't lantern himself and can't fire back, just as I'm talking about Cerberus cleaning it up.
That was a very, very strange passage of play, because you saw Cerberus actually backing off on the top lane, and I think they just overestimated the ability to just recall in the bush there, because They were safe. They could have just walked to their turret and recalled there, but instead they were a little bit too greedy. Greedy recall cost them a lot in the top lane. 2 platings and the opportunity to use Herald in top lane as well. It's still in 𝗀𝗏's hands, and 𝗀𝗏 immediately running towards Dragon again. So second Dragon will go over to Cerberus. Something they've been very good about. The first 2 dragons almost always go to Cerberus. The third dragon is where it gets a little bit dicey. They tend to lose third dragon for some reason.
This was just a greedy recall.
Yeah, they could have just walked to the turret.
Yep, 𝗀𝗏 was out of there because of the Baron recall. Bard ult, that was actually really fast response by Artemis. It's a quick projectile. But Ron OP.
And that was blind as well.
Yep. Was?
I mean, they saw them entering the bush and not going out on the other side. So pretty easy prediction to make, to be honest. But still, a blind Bard ulti hitting for 𝗧. 𝗧, one of the best Bard players, still undefeated on this champion. So it's both run.
We could have that, but both support players have that statistic, is what I was trying to get to. As I forgot how to talk. I was just doing my best Bard impression. He doesn't talk. So
does he have ult for turret? He actually used a Q to delay. He has ult for turret. He could use this now.
Yep, he does. He denies the charge. And once more, God, aren't you just smiling to yourself? We've got some content that is very relevant after this game. Make sure you stick around in the break for that one. But you're looking very big brain at the moment, aren't you? That is
this is such a big swing denied for GAM. That was perfectly played for 𝗧. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He went up and queued the Rifthold and Artemis. So both were stunned. Rifthold couldn't go closer to the turret, so couldn't actually get his charge animation off. There was exactly enough time to get his ult off cooldown, and then perfectly timed ult as well. Denied the full Herald. They only get... they still get 2 plates for Artemis because of the pressure. So at least there's still some positives for Cerberus, but not quite as much gold as they wanted to get here.
And it also gives GAM the opportunity to still force first brick, as up in the top lane. Only 1 plate left on the top tower. 𝗖𝗏 obviously in a dominant matchup with the Renekton with a kill versus the 𝗚𝗔𝗠. He might be able to get in. Of course, the tower is very, very tanky, and the plates are going to fall, but he could still potentially get first brick in a little while. We'll have to see how the map movements do go. There are pings up there. Like Cerberus want to make a play towards the top side as the bot lane is walking up there.
Yeah, very good reset here for Cerberus to protect the turret from falling immediately to the Renekton. It seems like GAM is expecting this swap though. Are they? Bot lane is recalling, but 𝗖𝗏 is still in top lane. This could be a big top lane play for GAM to attack Cerberus' bot lane again. If they send 4 members here, there's no dragon on the bot side to get, so this could be a very beneficial for GAM. A very big swing in this game. They have been falling behind in dragons, and even though the gold is in their favor, it's only 700. This is super important. This could make or break the game.
Cerberus is sniffing this out. They know something's up. Ooh, Artemis, don't get too cocky here, mate. We know how he likes to play.
He has flash and cleanse available, though, so
still,
it's very hard to get him in top.
You don't want to use them, particularly when there's a bard nearby. We know he likes to play as a certain... this is bad. Artemis has been caught, but there is a lantern. It's been control warded. He flashes, he cleanses, he goes down. This is 2 kills for GAM immediately. LL arrives, but it's not going to matter. Ron OP trying to run, has a blast cone. 2 kills traded for the first brick. Little bit of GAM magic happening.
Yeah, and Cerberus really wanted to have their cake and eat it too. They should have just given up the second Rifthold. It's only second Rifthold. You already broke first brick in bot lane. This swap actually gave you such a big advantage with LL actually finally securing the first brick in bot lane uncontested, because GAM was really fishing for a play in top lane that you prevented from happening. So Cerberus actually in a super good position, but then a big blunder in positioning when they got too aggressive around the Rifthold. So once again, GAM secure the lead and will have the Rifthold to break, potentially mid-turret.
Yulwei, it's becoming all too common, to the point where I'm going to have to change my metaphor because it was getting too tired. I'm dropping the carnival. Cerberus was a mighty ship sailing upon the seas. But unfortunately, the
I
siren...
mean, they only 1k gold down.
I know,
Calm down.
but the
Calm down.
siren song of GAM is calling them towards the rocks. Will they be able to get to their senses in time, or will we have more plays like this? Artemis
This is
was
just
cooked.
Yeah, I mean, Artemis could have flashed this one. He just didn't expect 4 members to be in the bush there, so he thought he could just tank the Bard ultimate. DI1 actually messing this up for his team.
Yep.
That was a 100% assured kill on 𝗁𝗃.
Ooh.
And now 3rd dragon, and they are actually first to the dragon. So
Yeah,
will
they
we
should
have
be
the
able to
dragon
burst this.
clash? Will GAM contest?
I think they want to, as Slay's eating a hook. In goes the Bard ult, gets 2. DI1's in the pit with 𝗂𝗃. There's the ult. No Lamb's Respite was dropped. He didn't have a chance. And as you said, the 3rd Drake is where things often go wrong, and it certainly has. As they've lost it, they've lost their jungler. But I think that's all they'll lose.
Usually, servers actually lose the 3rd Drake from a point of advantage on the map, and they just are too lazy to set it up. This time around, better play around the 3rd Drake. So actually looking at the passage of play, there was a little bit of an improvement to prior weeks, but then they lose the member and lose the 3rd Drake anyway. So in the end, results-based analysis could say, yeah, they lose the 3rd Drake again. It's actually a little bit of an improvement.
This is silly.
Now.
They stepped up far too close here. LL charging out, and that was dicey, Cerberus.
They almost threw away the whole game. But I'm now in a firm lead. 2.5k.
Can you hear the mermaid singing Yulwei, guiding the SS Cerberus towards the rocks as they're making another aggressive play? Oh no, I'm very scared.
Yeah. So Cerberus still is scaling wise in an okay position. They need to calm down a little bit, as you have alluded to as well. They need to kind of understand that they don't actually need to have to contest every single fight here.
Yeah.
So let's see. What happens to 𝗂𝗃 that he doesn't get a chance to use his ultimate here? He's in a very bad position. Ult here, I mean, I guess you can just smash your 𝗁𝗃 and maybe you're lucky enough that it gets off, but good focus from GAM. You can't really fault Cerberus there too much, or especially 𝗂𝗃, because he couldn't really do anything. They just bounced him around. Very good Bard ultimate again, and Slay showing us why Bard is the best support in the VCS.
Yep, VCS is playing a lot of Bard. It's a weird situation where there's been seasons in the past where Bard's had like 100% win rate because no one was really playing him. We have a lot of Bard, and he's looking good every single time. Definitely the most... It's a bit of a weird one, but the VCS is a bit of a weird league, so maybe it makes a lot more sense than we think. And look at this goal difference in the jungle. That's a problem. And the top one.
No. That's way bigger than expected. But on the other hand, those two champs don't really scale too well. Though, I mean, Gragas scales decently well, and Renekton with Blade is better than before. But it's not like they are big late game win conditions or anything. So Cerberus actually happy with where the gold is allocated, because if all the gold was on DI1, that would be a big side lane problem. Actually want to point out the itemization Yado is going for. He's playing top lane Karma in the mid lane. First item, Iceborne Gauntlet. Typical top lane Karma build, but now heading straight towards Ardent instead of going Athene's first. They're a little bit underused build path, I'd say, because Ardent of course, gives a little bit more strength overall to the team, and especially if you have two members you want to give attack speed and on-hit damage to. I think Ardent second is actually the correct choice. So shout out to Yado for adapting his build path.
Slay does not want to let his... he doesn't like seeing his ult off cooldown, apparently, because he is using it every time it comes up to try and make a play. It's a very bold thing to do, but I kind of love it. I have to ask you something, though.
Yeah.
Abyssal Mask for LL.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
in this
how I feel
matchup,
about it.
you're right.
Like, there's a lot of AD on the enemy team. You're really only blocking Gragas damage. Was that the second option over Frozen Fist?
Actually, yeah, I agree. This is not the greatest. You could even consider something like Varmox and upgraded. I'm not sure what the on name is for it. The Locket of the Iron Solari. If you really don't like the Frozen Fist, yeah, you can even go Circlet as your second item. if you really don't like the Iron Fist, but I like the Iron Fists as well.
Yeah, the
Frozen Fist. Frozen Fist. Yeah.
I like Iron Fist. I wish it was Iron Fist. That's so much cooler. Hell yeah.
This might actually also be the reason for 𝗂𝗄 to go for Frozen or Iceborne Gauntlet here, because it can be upgraded to Frozen Fist. And Frozen Fist, a lot of people flame Frozen Fist, but on champs that are not called on, it's actually a very good item because it gives mana and it gives a lot of extra armor, and both of these things 𝗂𝗄 likes to have. So this might actually be the main reason for 𝗂𝗄 going Iceborne Gauntlet in this game. I haven't really thought about that. But yeah, I agree with you. This is a little bit of a questionable autopilot choice, a little bit of lazy itemization coming in from LL.
Yeah. It seems very strange to do that when both solo lanes are AD. Slay, slowing LL down. Of course, LL, a few more levels on him, and he can start handing out those Christmas ornaments to his team. Molten Edge available.
One is pretty far away,
This is a dangerous fight for GAM. This is a 2-item Aphelios, and EasyLove does not have 2 complete items.
𝗂𝗏 could just be turned on. Cerberus has full information on 𝗂𝗏.
Here we go. There's a Bard ult, hits nothing, but the dragon's resetting. Goes back towards GAM. There's a flash forward from OP. They just want to burst the dragon. There it is. Kindred secures it. 𝗬𝗏 gets sunned up. He's going to go down. And now Cerberus need to find a way out. This could be a disaster. In fact, I definitely think it will be. Oh no, they got the dragon, but at what cost? As it's going to be 5 kills for GAM. How do they do it?
It's going to be Baron. It's going to be Baron for GAM. They have 5k gold ahead now already. They lost the dragon, so at least one small thing for Cerberus. Then maybe they can go for the Mountain Soul or steal away the Mountain Dragon and get Mountain Soul to maybe come back into this game. But this really opens up a first game victory for GAM. Once again, very impressive Gragas play for Levi, and 𝗬𝗏 has not been able to find the good team fights for Kindred, the extended team fights. No ultimate, no flash used in the fight again. Very questionable play so far for 𝗬𝗏, who has been the main target though.
The problem for 𝗬𝗏 there was he needed to ult early, but if he ulted early, he risked ulting the dragon. And ulting the dragon was a disaster.
Yeah, that's true.
But if we watch him here, again, I'm very sympathetic to Kindred because I love this champion. Where can he ult? Right?
No, he needs to flash. I think the more important part is that he has to flash the barrel.
So after the dragon goes down, he does not have a moment to ult. He had to flash the arrow. You're right.
Yeah, he had to flash into the pit, in my opinion, to then ult there and try to fight from 2 fronts with Cerberus double ADC composition and Karma buffing them up. So once again, 𝗬𝗏 caught by CC. He has to take into account a lot of things. It's a very hard game to play for him. He's the jungler, so he has to smite, but then he's also an ADC, so he has to stay alive somehow against a lot of threats on the enemy team. So far, not able to really make this Kindred work.
This is looking very, very good for GAM. We predicted Cerberus. You, my friend, predicted a stomp for Cerberus. It's definitely not going that way. I predicted a 2-1, so I'm still alive. But at the moment, GAM, we've got to say, this is a bit of a different GAM. This is a coordinated GAM. And that's scary. Maybe their coordination's still not as good as Cerberus. But this is not the solo queue XD we're just playing Clash that we've seen this split. This is a very mean-looking GAM.
Yeah, I feel like in draft there's still a little bit of the the Clash team we've seen so many times, but in-game play has been much better since last week already. They have transformed into a more solid side lane mid-game macro team, especially in their matchup against Flash that they actually lost. You could see that they understood concepts Flash didn't understand, like playing through multiple lanes and not only ARAMing all the time. So GAM looks a little bit stronger, and of course they have it in them. They have multiple challenger players, even challenger career from time to time, of course, in 𝗂𝗏, and Levi was there before too.
I mean, they have. Let's not undersell them and just say challenger. Some of their players are the best in the league in terms of individual skill. 𝗂𝗏 𝗂𝗏, and Levi. We've been a bit down on GAM due to their team play, but 𝗂𝗏, Levi, and 𝗂𝗏 are still the most skilled top side in the league. That's not been in question, I don't think.
Sure.
in terms of pure mechanics.
And 𝗬𝗏 always finds one of his special picks, even though I talk about his champion pool looking a little bit
Here we go.
sus.
𝗚𝗏𝗏 might be in trouble. He has to flash, but he cannot. It was so well timed. The arrow blows the 𝗚𝗏𝗏 up, and the base will be cracked. 𝗀𝗏 looking good to take the first game, as Cerberus has only managed 1 kill. This is going to be the first.
They waste in top and
defeat,
bot lane. They could actually go for 3 inhibitors here. I mean, 2 are guaranteed with this 1 kill. Can they go for the 3rd as well? They still have a little bit of a wave coming in bot lane. I don't think Cerberus is going to do anything for this top inhibitor. Let's see if they have a last stand in bot lane and can come fight back somehow.
Yep, this inhib finally falls. They may have bought enough time by contesting a little bit. 𝗖𝗄𝗏's in some trouble, has to pop the Dominus. Oh, 𝗬𝗏! That is so bold! He just insta-flashed the wall. They're going in. This is a bit messy. Cerberus, calm down. You're already in trouble. Don't make it worse.
They are 11k gold down. This set of players hasn't lost a game in all 4 weeks so far. This is going to be the first loss, if it's going to be the loss, because now they've come back from 10k gold down against EVOS. So let's see if they can work their magic again. They have some items under the belt, finally. Of course, way less than GAM, but if they can secure this soul, this will give them like 4 or 5k gold back. And might actually turn this game around. But GAM is here to fight and to contest and really put the last nail in the coffin.
Yep, we have to see 𝗬𝗏 perform a little bit better in this fight. There's the 𝗚𝗏𝗠. The Ram gets a couple of knockups. They want to get onto Levi. 𝗚𝗏𝗏 is so far forward. The shield is huge. He needs to do some 200 years here. He throws out the ult to get the chakrams. He's doing damage. 𝗬𝗏's got 1. Drop the ult. Rod OP on the backside. Will manage to get the heal. This is looking good now for Cerberus. They've got the health advantage. Dragon resets. 𝗀𝗏 coming in for round 2, but they still need to be so careful, as that's an 𝗚𝗏𝗏 Mountain Soul has been secured, and now Cerberus just needs to find a way out to clear their base.
We're going to see it again? Are they going to somehow win the game from a 10k gold deficit again? They secured the Mountain Soul.
There's an 𝗚𝗏𝗏 diff, man. Ooh, they've got to clear this wave. Can they clear this? Yeah, they can.
Hello? Yeah, 𝗚𝗏's also now with Molten Edge, looking towards his 3rd crit item. He used his flash, though, in the last fight, so that is very, very bad for the next few fights.
Let's see how this
Cerberus needs to be super careful. I think GAM is a little bit too split. 𝗬𝗏 trying to look for a flank here. He only goes on Ron OP, so 𝗬𝗏 not in this fight. Cerberus basically one more carry.
So much time.
Yeah, he doesn't even die here.
Yep.
So perfectly played. They turn on the most important enemy, who of course is in this fight at least the jungler, because we want to secure the soul no matter what. So very good target acquisition and also target focus on the one target he needed to take down. So once again, we see Cerberus magic. Is it enough though to come back? They have a lot of Ornn items coming in, plus Mountain Soul. So the gold gap isn't as big, or the effective gold gap in terms of stats isn't as big as the pure gold.
Yeah,
you can see up in the top of the screen.
At the moment, the big advantage for 𝗀𝗏 is the map positioning. 2 inhibs down makes this very difficult for Cerberus. They still have a big mountain to climb, but it is possible. Enchanted Crystal Arrow does not land. They're trying to push these waves in. Cerberus has to clear very quickly, but of course, with Kindred and 𝗚𝗏𝗏, that's not too hard. And they get this one done. It would be a magical comeback, as there's the Bard ult. 𝗚𝗏𝗏 lands, and here they go. 𝗚𝗏𝗏 doesn't actually get the ult. Levi went gold, so it didn't land, but he's going to be firing. He's not contested at the moment. Doesn't have good guns. Here comes 𝗖𝗏. Cleans up 𝗚𝗏𝗏. That's a disaster. There's a big ult from the Tristana. They need to be so careful as Nexus towers are falling. This is very, very bad. D has got to find a way out. He manages to get over the wall. But now, Cerberus's base in shambles. 𝗚𝗏𝗏 is dead, and 𝗀𝗏's headed to Baron.
Well, this movement doesn't make any sense for 𝗀𝗏. They just abandoned Baron and went bot lane to get the inhibitor. They win the fight around bot lane turret, but then don't push the inhibitor, instead go for Baron. That is a very strange choice to me. Basically giving Cerberus a chance to fight back, of course, against Baron again, so more gold and more combat stats from the Baron buff. It doesn't really. I think this movement is a little bit disjointed. It doesn't really make much sense to me. A super close fight. Levi with the first bat ultimate timed it wrong on the Bard ulti, hitting Artemis. This could have been an insta-kill on Artemis. Look at this. Yeah, he just misses his ultimate, of course. Nicely timed. Zhonya's there, and this already looks like Artemis could maybe carry the fight, but as he pointed out on cast, his gun's not perfect. Jinx, of course, is quite strong, or the Infernum ultimate is quite strong in the fight.
Yeah, of course. Gravitum just wasn't ideal. He really wanted that red gun to be able to tank up the 𝗂𝗃𝗃 dive. Of course, props to 𝗂𝗃𝗃 for knowing his target, going in and blowing the Aphelios up to dodge any 200 years moments. Mid inhib has respawned, one less lane of super minion pressure, but Cerberus are definitely on the ropes. GAM has been hitting haymakers all game, and while their teamfight coordination is still not perfect, some big mechanical skill and, to be fair, better coordination than we've seen so far this split is doing the job. Artemis, you have the world on your shoulders, my friend. You need to show every century that went into this Aphelios design. The tower falls. The inhibs are all exposed. Only one tower still stands as the bot inhib has fallen. This is dangerous. Can GAM get 3 inhibs? It's almost impossible to come back if that was to happen. Cerberus give up.
And Cerberus really needs to look for a good fight.
All the minions are being cleared. Will they fight?
But Artemis doesn't have his flash yet. He really needs his flash for the fight.
He's running
There's
back
so
to
many
base.
instant threats.
This is going to be the 3 inhibs. This is bad.
Going to be Cerberus giving up everything to farm out for the one important objective they might be able to steal, the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very hard, though, with only 1 Nexus tower, 3 inhibs down. You can't even really go as a team to the Elder Drake, and GAM, this is going to be a hard game for them to lose. I think we may have the first legit loss for Cerberus. On the standings, of course, they do already have 1 game loss, but that was with a different bot lane and a different top lane. It was a bit of an experiment. Easy love. Ooh, they don't have vision behind him and don't want to commit. This is their real team. This is legit. If GAM get it, this is truly the new kings taking on the old kings as Cerberus want to keep their title for now. Levi goes forward with the barrel. The Ornn Horn gets thrown into 𝗂𝗃𝗃 and Easy Love. How are they going to navigate this? GAM doesn't even want to go around the Elder Drake. They just want to fight. A hook is landed. The Aftershock is procced for Ron OP. As Dia1 sneaking forward, wants to get damage on the tower. There's the Gragas Barrel and the Kindred ult. The tower's falling. They can just focus the Nexus. Artemis, you've got to do it all. And I don't think he's going to be able to do it. No. And he'll go down. And GAM will take the first win that Cerberus has ever not gotten. I screwed that, but it doesn't matter. GAM take game 1, and they're looking good.
In dominant fashion, to say that they really dominated Cerberus from start to finish. Great early game dive on the top lane towards a strong mid game. They knew how to approach the fights. They had all eyes on Kindred and were able to just burst them out fight after fight, and then had the Baron after the big dragon fight around Dragon 3. So this really, Dragon 4 maybe, I don't remember, but this really was the first time Cerberus got dominated from start to finish, and GAM in prime position to 2-0, the best team in the league.
Absolutely, and regardless, we will be throwing to a little bit of a break. We'll be back in no time at all for the analyst to have a chat. But we'll see you guys soon for game 2. Will GAM pick up the first series win over Cerberus, or will the current top of the table team fire back? Find out in just a little bit, guys. We'll talk soon.
Welcome to In Hindsight. My name is Yulwei, and today we're going to take a magical journey into the domain of one of the champs that has been tearing up the VCS summer split so far. Dominating the map and team fights, as well as finding unique paths around the rift, Bard has been the most outstanding support champion in our region so far. Let's look at some stats first. Bard currently holds a 76% win rate in 17 games, going 13-4 so far. 𝗀𝗏𝗏, 𝗧𝗍 and even 𝗚𝗔𝗠 support 𝗁 are unbeaten on the champion. The 51% presence, Bard is the second most picked support, only trailing behind 𝗀𝗏. Why is this champion so successful in the VCS? With a solid play and win rate, Bard is by no means a stranger to any of the global leagues, but the VCS is the league he likes to sing about most. Bard is a very unique champion. I would argue his is one of the most special champion designs in the game, warping a lot of usual play patterns and offering multiple unique play paths. Everyone who saw the incredible game from 𝗀𝗏𝗏 against 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 last week will probably turn their eyes to Bard's ultimate, and don't you worry, we are going to focus on Tempered Fate later on in this video. But first off, let's take a look at the other tools in Bard's rich arsenal and how they lead to success in the VCS. His passive slow and the Q slow damage and stun offer Bard one of the strongest early trading patterns in the game. As a ranged champion, he is able to control waves and add quite a lot to the botlane dynamic. In the following clips, we can see how Bard is able to chase down targets and set up his ADC for success. Ashe, and to a lesser extent Aphelios, can also fluidly fit into the dynamic combo, either to set up Bard for his chase potential, or to follow up on a Bard play and finish the job. With utility and CC capable ADCs in the meta, Bard thrives from the word go. I don't want to sell his ability to roam and use his chimes to still keep up in level short, as Bard is able to influence the map early and maintain a very high level. On average, Bards in our league are slightly down in gold, but massively ahead in experience at 15 minutes. This video will however not spend too much time on roaming and influencing other lanes, as that, at least conceptually, is not unique to Bard. Rather, his two other basic abilities are very much a core part of his exclusive identity. While Q start gives Bard and his lane partner a lot of strength in level 1 traits, W can influence other lanes without Bard having to do anything. As you can see here, Bard places shrines in the mid lane so that Glory on his Zoe can play very aggressively and is able to disregard usual HP concerns. After all, what kind of caretaker wouldn't want his ally healthy? His shrines can also make the natural need to go for chimes easier, as he can just place 3 shrines at his bot laner's turret and wander off for a while to collect his toys. Lastly, his most fascinating and game-altering base ability is his magical journey. This split alone, this ability has helped multiple teams countless of times to disengage from a disadvantageous position or set up ganks through unpassable terrain. GAM used Bard here to get back into the game against 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 after a horrible early game. In this clip, everyone manages to get away from a dangerous looking teamfight around Dragon, while in the next one, Baron's Pit is transformed into an easily passable channel. Providing teams with the ability to disengage through walls after taking an otherwise risky objective is one of the most valuable assets VCS Bards have granted to their users. But all that is of course overshadowed by the craziest ability in the game, Tempered Fate. No other ability can alternate every targetable thing on the map. Bard's ultimate is infamous for costing his team more than it offers, but when used well, it can be the game-breaking ability. The only thing stopping herald charges, freezing big monster objectives or minions, Bard's ultimate leaves everything up to the imagination of the player to shoot for the stars. There is no time to show all different facets of this incredible ability, or even all the facets already displayed in this split. How did the best Bard players in Vietnam use this ultimate in their games? We all know that this region loves to fight all the time. Therefore, every successful champ needs to be capable in one way or another to contribute to the inevitable big team fights that are to occur. There are mostly 2 different ways to temper fate with Bard in teamfights. Alternate the enemies to a horrible fate, or aid your allies towards a brighter future. In the VCS, Bards have prioritized the former, and to a great effect. This ultimate from the best Bard player in the league, Cerberus 𝗀𝗏𝗏, changed the entire fight. He hits 3 members right when 𝗬𝗏𝗏 get into position to fight. With 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀 as well as Divine Judgment already invested to reorganize battle lines, 𝗬𝗏𝗏 has bought some space for their composition to fight from a safe distance. It is relatively difficult for Cerberus' comp to chase, as many of the engaged tools are down and most of their champs are very low range. Thus, a standoff in this position would favor 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏. But Bard catches 3 champs, putting them in stasis for 2.5 seconds, which gives Cerberus the time to catch up, even while affected by the Braum ultimate, and get their short-range carries into position to attack. This one ability was able to completely change the fight in the favor of Bard's team. In the following clips, the same principle applies. Bard ult gives his team enough time to catch up to the targets and allowing his team to chime in and bring the damage. Of course, this comes with a certain risk. There are some situations in which the Bard ultimate leads to teams overchasing into dangerous flankable positions or underestimating the enemy team's ability to fight back. In this clip, 𝗧𝗍 hits a flawless ultimate and GAM collapses instantly, but Team Secret calls in TPs and GAM can't get away now, so they lose the fight even though they were set up well by the caretaker. In this dragon fight, Venus catches out 2 GAM members with another nicely aimed tempered fate. Unfortunately for his team, the 2 champions hit are Lee Sin and Thresh, who are far from the primary targets in a 25-minute full-on 5v5 clash. Magically drawn to the shiny statues of Levi and 𝗧𝗍, Team Secret move into a narrow corridor, exposing themselves to a counterattack from GAM and losing this important teamfight from an even position. Overall, the positive outcomes outweigh the few negative examples though, as catching up to the enemies is one of the main problems of many bruisery champions in the meta right now. Bard can provide them with the necessary time and mobility to get on top of their targets and bite, wrestle or spin them to death. Using your ultimate to set your own teammates into stasis can be quite dangerous and hard to pull off, as the AoE might just hit the aggressor too, ultimately only delaying inevitable death, or worse, leaving the protected in an even more precarious spot. Luckily, Bard is here to stay, and we will have many more opportunities to look for the next evolution in Bard play for the rest of the split. Thank you for joining me on this magical journey through In Hindsight Episode 3, and don't forget to tune in from Friday to Sunday so we can take care of you over at VCS English. Over at VCS English.
Oh. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to VCS week number 5. That was a quite the ASMR presentation from you. Yulwei is I think you're struggling with your mic over there, but still, we should be having draft momentarily. So I'm just gonna let you guys really quickly just tell everyone who is your MVP.
I think we've settled on 𝗧𝗍 because he played that Bard to perfection.
Right.
Yeah, there was only like 1 or 2 ults he really missed, and they turned out to be rather inconsequential to the overall fight. And yeah, he just played it really well.
Yeah, like every day said, you know, it was basically never on cooldown, but Yulwei, jump on in.
Yeah, he was the perfect example of the VCS Bard. I'm so happy to see my video immediately come to effect here in the first game. So 𝗧𝗍 showed us again why Bard is the best support champ, and now I think Bard should have a solid lead in terms of win rate over Thresh, with once again winning the matchup 1v1. So yeah, very happy to see that. Great execution.
I can see the draft coming up in the background, so I am just gonna try to pick your brains while the champions are being picked. So if you see anything interesting, just create a tangent and go after it, right? But I think one thing that we have to talk about is how sloppily I think CES played. They really only held on to that game for that long because of their early dragon priority and how they got so many dragons going on, and they looked really shaky. They got an interesting draft going, and I think they really had a lot of overconfident play. So do you think that this is something that's going to be plaguing them throughout the series? Do you think they can come back?
I think
Vinnie?
that if they had played that out with a slightly different comp, maybe if they had gotten the Olaf or something instead of the Kindred, it would have gone a lot better for them, because Kindred did not spend any moment in that game as a champion. At the end of the game, she had 2 marks.
Oh my god, seriously?
Yep, 2 marks. I made sure to count that.
Nice.
It was still spawning on Gromp when GAM
Yeah,
won that game.
yeah, I saw that.
So-
Oh gosh.
They did not have a great game there. Yeah, their only good point was when Levi sort of entered the fight around the Dragon Soul, which by just going a little bit too deep on the Gragas, and so not really an end. It was just kind of a bit overzealous on his part, and threw that away. So
Yep, I agree
he
with
won't be
your.
doing that this time around. Sorry, as I tapped my mic accidentally.
I agree with a lot of your points. For me, it goes back to draft. I think they lost the game in draft, not because their draft was unplayable or anything, but because they put too much on 𝗬𝗏, who is a good jungler, but it was such a hard game to play for him. Kindred into one of the best pathing junglers in Levi, also on a direct counter, at least in later team fights, and we saw that in action time and time again. So yeah, and they also didn't have the lanes to set up the Kindred. Of course, they had Karma, but all the other lanes were losing matchups. So Kindred really can't do anything if you lose every single lane. It's such a bad setup for this champion who really needs to be aided by teammates and then can pay it back later on in the game. So I feel like a lot was lost in draft, and what I'm seeing on screen right now is already more of Cerberus from last week. A lot of early game, a lot of strong lanes. So like to see where this is going.
Yeah, I think the only reason why why GAM got a hit that early on is because CES basically into top side while they were focusing bot side. But sorry to cut you off, Vinny, but one of the other things I really want to try to focus in on, try to get your thoughts on, is whether or not what we saw from GAM is sustainable, because they really came out of the gate swinging. They had great coordination compared to the previous weeks, like you guys said. And the question on my mind is now: is GAM back? Is this something that we can look forward to permanently, or was it just a one-off?
So going off this game and their series against Team Secret, they have looked a lot more coordinated with 𝗬𝗏 back in the roster. So this is probably a sign of things to improve. However, I'm not liking their look at their draft because it doesn't seem to really fit their style from what we've seen it to be. 𝗀𝗏𝗃 going onto the 𝗀𝗿𝗵 as presumably, unless there's some wacky nonsense going on. I don't think this really fits their style of strong solo lanes to buff. Because those are both. Neither of those are particularly strong solo lanes, unless 𝗀𝗏𝗃 subscribes to the philosophy every other region is doing with 𝗀𝗿𝗵 and building damage on him. I've got something coming up eventually. It'll probably be next week, but our 𝗀𝗿𝗵 win rate is trash, and we are one of the only ones that build him tank if he's in the top lane. If he's in the jungle, yeah, sure, go tank. If he's in the top lane, please don't build full tank 𝗀𝗿𝗵. It's worthless. It does nothing.
It really
build
is.
a
It really is.
Triforce.
We've seen it so many times, just not do anything. I definitely echo your points. I really don't like Grace for Levi. I'm sure he's a good Grace player, but we just saw his impact when he is on playmaking, early game gank, or a champ that can impact team fights with big ultimates. His Gragas is absolutely incredible, as always has been. But his Grace is just, he has so little agency when it comes to like making plays happen. He of course can dominate the matchup. This is a very strong matchup for Graves. I just don't like to see Levi on something that has so little playmaking potential, especially.
Yeah, and I don't know what on earth GAM is doing with their draft right now. So I wouldn't mind Graves so much if there was you have the twos pushing solo lanes, and that way they always have rotation onto the Graves, and that way Graves can basically just delete the enemy jungler from the game. Yeah. But this is not the setup that they're going for. I mean, yes, 𝗀𝗿𝗵 can be a pushing lane, but not really into Renekton. And with the Karma going mid, that's definitely no. And this is just opening up Ron OP's Bard with this Thresh pick, and I don't get the MF pick at all. I think it's
team composition doesn't make any sense.
Pretty terrible.
Okay, we have last pick support. We could see some very cool stuff. Maybe an Alistair, maybe Blitzcrank.
Oh boy,
I wouldn't expect to see Alistair here. I would have thought Bard would have been really good.
Blitzkrieg
in
is
DNF,
actually
'cause you
very
can just-
smart. I think Blitzkrieg
Yeah.
Ah,
is
there it is.
smart.
There it is.
I like
the
Bard too,
Bard.
of course.
Yeah,
So-
because you can just, if you save your Temper Faith and just drop it on the MF as she opens up her ult,
Yeah, that's true.
You've got
That's
that
true.
set up forever. And yeah, I think GAM just 100% left themselves open for counter picks. So
Yeah.
I think this bot lane is pretty trash, actually.
GAM, I just don't know how GAM team fights in this composition. They have no range whatsoever. It's like the enemy team has to run into MF ult for GAM to ever be able to do
Well,
anything.
They,
It's like,
they
what?
want them to run into them because GAM certainly can't engage onto Cerberus.
No, they can't do
They have
anything.
to land
What
a
is this comp?
all they have
Only
is a
Ben Graves
threshold.
runs at you to engage.
Yeah, nice.
I'm looking at all these
them.
champions. Who is the Graves going to target, right? Echoing, Yulwei's point from week 1. The Graves has nobody to target because he was picked first, and everyone just sees, yeah, that's a Grave. We're gonna pick counters, and he's just gonna suffer in the jungle. But really quickly, Yulwei, your thoughts? Who's gonna take it?
I think Cerberus' comp is so much better. Even after the
Right.
first game, Cerberus wins here.
Okay, you're expecting a bounce back from Cerberus. What about you, Vinny? Is GAM gonna take the series?
Okay, to answer your point on who does Graves target,
Okay.
if he can get off to that early game lead, LL shouldn't be tanky enough to withstand him until like at least 3 or 4 items, so he can try and snowball and just beat up on the Renekton. But overall, yeah, there's no GAM's comp has no agency. It's got no engage. It's just not very well put together. It's just not a well put together comp.
All right. So is your prediction
So
CES?
I'm definitely going with Cerberus.
All right, Vinny, let's go for a coffee as we are going to hand the reins of this stream back over to Everyday and Yulwei to take you guys into game. See you in a while.
Thank you, everybody over there on the analyst desk, and of course, Yulwei pulling the double shift. What an absolute hero. I'd like everyone in chat to thank especially Spoods, as he is filling in at the last minute for me. I couldn't be on camera today, so he is doing us a massive favour. I'd like to thank him once more. But Yulwei, we have a fun composition here. Cerberus has 5 comfort picks, I think.
Look at this comp. This is Cerberus in a nutshell. This split is at least. Artemis, I guess Artemis could have picked Aphelios for the full Cerberus comp, but Artemis' Kalista in recent weeks was very strong as well. So, yeah, this is Renekton, most comfortable champ for LL. We have Zuhao and Trundle, probably his go-to pick in the split as well. Yado, Yado could play Zoe for the even comfier draft, I guess. But yeah, Yado as he is also good to see. So for sure, a very comfortable draft. If they lose with this is really, really a big indictment and a very big boost to GAM in standings, in power rankings and everything. If GAM was able to overcome Cerberus on their most comfortable draft, it's going to go a long way.
Saying only one of us was smart enough to put GAM second in the power rankings. Just saying, guys, no worries. Once again, Everyday has the bigger brain, and I'm just stuck here as a play-by-play caster.
What can I do?
Why do I even bother?
Would just be too unfair to leave the analysis to you. It's just
I can't. Well, I mean, I would do both roles on the cast, but I just don't quite have the throat for that. Solo casting's hard. Of course, I could do it.
It is.
It is. You did it for a long time. I'm joking, of course. Your analysis is always welcome and better than mine. So let's have a look at these lanes. Is there any interesting runes? There is one. That's a Comet Azir. What do you think about that? Less damage overall.
Yeah, Comet Azir more for laning phase, gives Yado a little bit more pressure. It makes makes trades in the early game easier to play, and just overall makes it easier to push out the lane and give a little bit of maybe a little bit of control over to the river and Zuhao. So it's more to protect Zuhao than actually for Yado, in my opinion. Here, I don't think Azir has to go Comet into Karma, but should help him stay even in lane against DR1 and push DR1 a little bit back. So this is more to protect his jungler, and 𝗬𝗏𝗏 is trying to go for 𝗬𝗏𝗏.
They're just going to say, you hook me, I deal the damage, but there was an ignite used to ward him off. So 2 for 1 in summoners, and now a skirmish in the river. 𝗬𝗏 does not want to fight Graves this early, but apparently they're going to opt in. There's the smite on the crab. 𝗬𝗏𝗏's mispositioned here really badly. Oh, Cerberus, no, don't do this to me. You didn't need to fight here. They're on the run. There should be a little bit of CC coming. There's the pillar and the double flash. Bad start for Cerberus.
Oh my. Why would you do that, Cerberus? Did you see 𝗬𝗏𝗏's positioning there? He was cornered from all sides. He just ran into the river, totally oblivious to positioning on the enemy team. That was such a bad fight. And 𝗬𝗏𝗏 in a severe disadvantage now, using both of his summoner spells, and all 4 flashes on the bot side blown for Cerberus.
That's a disaster.
Now the bot lane lost their advantage. It's such a bad thing to happen early on. Now 𝗂𝗃𝗏𝗃 can't dominate lane anymore. They have to be super careful. I mean, 𝗬𝗏 isn't the greatest jungler to punish them, but still, careful to not fall to 2v2, because MF Thresh have a lot of damage between them as well. So, perfect start for GAM again. 1k gold lead at 4 minutes. It's really looking like GAM is going to overcome Cerberus today.
Yeah, this is not a good start for sure. 𝗬𝗏𝗏, I was so excited to see his Trundle. It is the best Trundle in the league, and 𝗬𝗏𝗏 pilots it to real mastery, but you just have to know that you just don't fight the Graves there. It's just a bad fight.
Yes, 𝗬𝗏𝗏 hits level 4 here. It has double buffs. Yeah, I mean, 𝗬𝗏𝗏's... I'm not sure what 𝗬𝗏𝗏 is doing. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was called from the team to contest, but 𝗬𝗏𝗏 really should have just said, I can't go there. It's impossible for me to move into 4 members here. Let's call this play off. This is on 𝗬𝗏𝗏 too.
This is live. 𝗧𝗏 takes a lot of damage, does lose the flash, and here's 𝗀𝗏𝗏. The Bard arrives. It's not going to be enough for now. Okay, Cerberus isn't going to
imagine 𝗬𝗏𝗏 had his flash here. That would have been an easy kill on 𝗧𝗏 with 𝗀𝗏𝗏's follow-up.
Whoa. They're not stopping. Calm down, lads. Yeah.
It's quite dangerous. No one has flash, remember. Yeah. So I think 𝗀𝗏𝗏 is going to stick around to get him out of there with a magical journey. Oh no.
Here comes a hook. 𝗬𝗏𝗏's here as well. This is a bit dangerous. 𝗧𝗏 is very low. He goes down to 𝗬𝗏𝗏. It's a 1 for 1 at the moment. But look at the positioning. 𝗬1 teleported in. 𝗬𝗏𝗏 has no flash. He's got to hop desperately, but he cannot hop away. This was so over-aggressive by Cerberus. What is happening?
Wait, are we sure the teams are actually playing?
Did they swap? Are the nameplates wrong?
The teams have swapped. Is this 𝗂𝗏𝗏 playing, contesting everything, even after giving up an early advantage? What is going on with Cerberus? There was absolutely no need to force that fight. You should know that the TP advantage is with DR1. And just overall, just even the 3v3 is probably not going to be in your favor, even though they were able to get at least 1 kill back. But man, what is happening in this early game? Let's look at this. So 𝗀𝗏𝗏 doesn't connect the stun. He hits level 4, so he's quite tanky. And 𝗬𝗏𝗏 gets an early easy kill on 𝗧𝗏. 𝗬𝗏𝗏 also able to get away. So in the end, the 3v3 would have been close.
He didn't even know DR1 was there.
Yeah, no. They paid no attention to the TP.
The communication was broken. Oof.
Well, it gave 𝗬𝗏𝗏 a little bit of a CS lead, but 10 CS is not enough right now to overcome this 1k gold lead for GAM. GAM also now with full control on bot side again, so this should just... Oh no, 𝗀𝗏𝗏, what are you doing?
𝗀𝗏𝗏, this is so silly, but it is Bard. Any other support
he's also
dead.
Quite silly. Yeah, he just likes to go through the wall from time to time.
Exactly. Him and Kane have meetings on the weekend. Wall haters, anonymous.
At least Bard opens up the wall for everyone, so he's a very social champion.
Wow. Yeah, but Kane just obeys social distancing, as LL is getting absolutely trucked. Maybe we should stop making jokes, because the fighting never stops. 𝗬𝗏𝗏 is getting engaged on by DR1. As 𝗬𝗏𝗏 is approaching, they don't want to turn this one.
𝗬𝗏𝗏 wanted to get into range for his ultimate to execute, but in the end, 𝗬𝗏𝗏 far enough away and high enough HP to not fall prey to that one. What was that volley bear damage? What? he was a level down on LL and he just murdered him.
Bramble Vest is a good item early on, as now LL has to slice away. Levi got the red buff as well, I think. This is looking like a GAM early game. And Cerberus, they're already failing at weathering the storm. They've got to get back to the bunkers.
A little bit interesting here, the GAM didn't go for the dragon. They had full bot lane control, and they got the good fight on 𝗂𝗄 to force him back. He had no TP either, so honestly, there was a little bit of an opening to go for the first dragon. Instead, now GAM trying to invade top lane and looking for a top lane dive. Of course, with Kiaya's ultimate, they could dive, and LL also used his ultimate in the last trade, so he's not as tanky as he could be.
Absolutely dead. You have to think there is the VolleyBear ult. He's trying to get away, should have access to the other. He heals. The turret's back on. Can they get the damage? No, they can't. And LL breaks some ankles to get out of trouble.
And this is one of the big problems of Graves. He is a very strong champion early on. He has super good traits, but he can't tower dive because you can just stand behind the turret and Graves can't attack you. That's one of the few unique mechanics with Graves. Your bullets don't go through terrain or don't go through turrets especially. So they just hit the turret instead. And you can just hide behind the turret and all the auto attack damage from Graves isn't a factor. In the meantime, Cerberus paid back with a dragon. So once again, we see Cerberus playing better around objectives, monster objectives especially, and getting the first dragon. They are still far behind, though.
That they are. But again, Cerberus is getting back on track. I don't think they can contest this Rift Herald. I think they just have to give this one up. I think they might understand the same that 𝗬𝗏 hovering around. He's got nothing else to do, to be fair. All of his camps are down pretty much.
They are in position to contest, but do they want to? Ronavi could turn this one golden? Nope.
No, I don't. I think that's a good decision. There was no need to contest there. They were in a position on the map to do so, but I don't think they were in a position experience-wise, item-wise, etc. So I like the call to just don't do it. You don't need to fight GAM early. Take it to the mid-game where your shot calling should reign supreme.
Yep. Good to see. Finally, a little bit of an adaptation from Cerberus, not to contest every single thing. And 𝗂𝗄 is going to hit 100 CS at 10 minutes, so he's in a very good position to maybe carry later on. Of course, Azir, he went with a very lane-focused approach here in this game. We talked about Comet earlier, now he also...
Going the Ludens.
Oh, is he going to go... Yeah, he's probably not going Ludens, probably going for this book. How is it called again? Lost Chapter, right? Lost Chapter, just to gate his mana problems, right? But still puts his core build a little bit behind.
Yep.
So, Cerberus needs some time. They need actually a lot of time still.
They do. But Azir being in a good position, even after the early blunder by 𝗂𝗄 in the river, is very good for Cerberus. He's going to be very, very important in disengaging when Kiaya dives in later on in the game, when Levi is dashing forward. That wall and potential Shurima shuffles as well is going to be crucial if Cerberus wants to stabilize and win this game. So all eyes on 𝗂𝗄. But let's zoom out for a moment and sort of look at the scoreboard, because we have some items being completed. EasyLove already has the Essence Reaver, while the Blade of the Ruined King is not complete for Artemis. The kills will tell you why. And what item power spikes are Cerberus looking for? When can they fight?
Yeah, the real problem here is that GAM doesn't need item power spikes, while Cerberus really needs them. They need at least one item on Artemis to fight. I think they want to wait for one item for 𝗂𝗄, and that is still pretty far away. Trundle doesn't really need an item power spike. Renekton, he can kind of operate without the items being there too, especially in the early game. Bart can build whatever he wants. So 𝗂𝗄 is the main concern, because Blade of the Ruined King should be here soon. On the other side, though, we have so many strong components and items, or parts of items for GAM. So right now, GAM is so much stronger in fights, and Cerberus probably needs at least Nashor's Tooth to really fight back.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense. And there it is. Bard once again coming in clutch, stopping the gold lead snowballing. I think GAM knew that was going to happen, as no one was actually sticking around. They will get a plate in the bot lane. EasyLove. Finally, the GAM bot lane winning a lane here. Pretty hard.
And against the best bot lane in the league. So very impressive stuff. Legit. Of course, Ronavi had to go mid. to stop that from happening. And I honestly think maybe against the good Bard players in the league, you just deprioritize Herald at this point, because it's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So it makes the call for Cerberus to not contest the Herald even better. If they are confident in ronop's ability to just stop the Herald charge, and he definitely has the mechanics to do that.
It's not particularly
why not?
hard
Just give up the
mechanically.
Yeah, you have to time it correctly. If you do it too early, the Herald will actually not charge and then charge afterwards.
That's true.
It's not super hard. It's quite easy to do, but still good to see that it's very consistently happening here.
True.
Do we have the goal totals? The jungle is still such a big problem. Look at the CS advantage. Look at the level lead as well. Levi almost keeping up with the solo laners, only one level down. 𝗬𝗪 has fallen behind. This is on the same level as his support. So very, very poor and very inexperienced Trundle.
Yeah, that's
to get the trolling.
He does. He really needs to find his domain. As this will be the second Drake. I like that Cerberus is they're not kind of tilting and leaning into that early aggression. They saw that, whoa, what are we doing? Slow it down, boys. Calm down. How do they actually get a foot back in the door? Do they need to get a foot back in the door yet?
We talked about this draft, and GAM has a very hard time closing out this game. They have almost no real siege. They are very low range. They can't engage team fights, other than 𝗖𝗄𝗃 just flashing on top of someone and flash bear slapping people or biting them, I guess. So Cerberus has a lot of time to work with. Of course, their composition, apart from the Azir, actually doesn't scale too well. We have Artemis on 𝗂𝗃𝗏. 𝗂𝗃𝗏 is kind of meh in late game team fights, as we know, right? So Trundle scales decently well, but Renekton will fall off, especially from this position where he's not ahead. So I'm a little bit worried for their scaling as well. They should overall still scale better in 5v5 team fights, just because GAM has big problems getting to them. So even though it's just 𝗂𝗏𝗏, she should have enough time to put in all the auto attacks to stack up the rents. And then Azir alone is such a big problem for all 5 champions on GAM's side that it's actually going to be 1v5 basically in terms of scaling.
Yeah, it is. It is going to be a lot on 𝗬𝗪 here. Now, of course, the one good thing about Trundle is that even from behind, he can kind of do his job. He can just press R on the volley bear, put the Trundle up, that kind of thing. Sorry, put the Trundle up. Put the pillar up, my mistake, to interrupt a bullet time. Those things don't necessarily require a huge amount of experience, but you do see the 2-level gap means that smites don't exist. This is Levi. The man does not miss smites. Like, 𝗬𝗪 has stolen some things he should never be able to steal, but I don't think he'll be able to do it against Levi, as Shirley is on the table. Cerberus looking like...
No, what?
Whoa. This is not a very good decision here. Bullet time is hitting a lot, but there's a big Bard ult, but it doesn't matter, because in goes 𝗖𝗄𝗃. I think this is a mistake here from Cerberus. LL needs to find a way out. Flashes over the wall, but he's followed, and Cerberus, they pull the trigger and the gun misfires.
We just talked about the lesser importance of Shirley and Herald overall because of Bard.
Yeah.
Why would you suddenly just disregard everything you did? You didn't contest the dragon, and the dragon is actually important for the late game. The Herald doesn't do anything. You can just immune the turret once again, or just ult the turret, I should say. Why would you fight for Herald at this point? What? What was that decision making? That was so weird. That was so off theme and off character as well from the whole game so far. Cerberus did play a more disciplined style this time around. Why is that the fight you take? It makes no sense whatsoever.
This is,
and it gives GAM so much free gold and so much control now with the mid lane turret broken.
Why is the GAM magic so powerful? Truly, even Cerberus will fall victim.
I'm fine with the posturing here. Cerberus can see what they can do and move close, but why would you ever TP LL behind? It full commit to the team fight. Like, the TP is really was really putting me off. Like, what the? Why would you TP him in there? He is just behind Renekton. He's going to die instantly.
Yeah, 100%. That was a very poorly executed call by Cerberus. Everything kind of went wrong. You saw 𝗖𝗄𝗃 dived in and just smushed someone. You love to see that, at least, as finally a top lane 𝗬𝗿𝗃 having a bit of an impact. It looks like he might be heading towards Triforce as well.
Damage item.
A damage item. Ooh.
Now, what happened here? Oh.
Oh, okay. D1 apparently died. Shurima Shuffle straight into the waiting mouth of 𝗬𝗏, and they just chase him down, I imagine. Oh, no, what happens here? He can't... Dio, just leave, dude. As, okay. He could have just left, but the boys came in, the backup band, and 𝗪𝗪𝗧 gets a kill. Okay, that was a weird one. We definitely didn't catch that.
Happened in the replay, I suppose.
I assume
Artemis flashed forward for that kill. And you saw how much trouble it is to even kill a Karma alone with two strong CC champs and displaced champs and Azir and Trundle. Even the two of them weren't enough to catch Karma or kill her.
Karma is
they
very
kept her,
quick,
but they...
after all.
That's true. So we have the Trinity now coming in for 𝗖𝗄𝗃 and no flash on Artemis. So this teamfight is once again looking a little bit dicey. At least we have two core items for Yado completed. So he has some damage.
Yeah, and the ADC itemization is also evened up. It's 1.5 items, maybe a little bit more for MF. But here we go. There's a smite. 𝗬𝗏 wins it, a level down. This is good for Cerberus. They're charging in, but 𝗖𝗄𝗃 in the backline doing a lot. Do they have the Azir wall? Not yet. There's a shutdown onto MF. LL tries to find a way out and does. Here goes 𝗀𝗏𝗃. There's a shuffle. 𝗖𝗄𝗃 will take him down. They've got a bearskin rug, and Slay follows. It's a double kill for Yado, and this is the Cerberus we like to see.
Finally, Cerberus showing us why they are the best team in the league, or at least were until today. What an incredible teamfight setup and what an incredible execution. How did 𝗬𝗏 win the smite fight against Levi? Levi, what are you doing? You're 2 levels ahead at that point.
That is such a rare mistake from Levi. He never loses smite fights.
And he's so low now.
He might look for his revenge. And of course, one thing we are forgetting to take into account is 𝗪𝗪𝗧. That's probably what it was. It was probably a Ren smite call.
Maybe.
Of course, Levi can still beat that. It's possible, but that actually does make it harder to give Levi a bit of break.
Let's take a look at how the dragon was secured. There's a lot of Rens, of course, stacked up on the dragon, so maybe you're correct. I feel like he could have done that, but now focus on 𝗀𝗏𝗃. Perfect ultimate once again, and LL finally has some impact on this Renekton. He's behind, but he's still, of course, Renekton in the mid-game. A lot of damage. He disengages at the correct time, and now the re-engage from 𝗀𝗏𝗃 and Yado comes in. And we talked about this team composition difference. GAM doesn't have any CC after the first strike is over, right? If you avoid the Thresh CC and 𝗖𝗄𝗃 has one stun, there is almost no CC to speak of. There's nothing they can do to turn the fight or even try to disengage. They are just trying to run away with DR1 ultimate, shield, of course. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you see, Cerberus' composition can do so much more. It's now looking quite good for them again. They got the dragon, they got the Baron. They are still behind in gold, but their team fight scaling is so much better.
Of course, it's definitely not over, as GAM can still make things happen, as only GAM can. Levi with a massive gold lead in the jungle. He may have lost that smite. Still, again, very hard situation against a enemy jungler and a 𝗪𝗪𝗧, but still, he is levels higher. 1 level higher, in fact, which is closing. Considering the CS lead, I might have thought it was a bit more. LL takes a lot of damage from Easy Love. But where's the next point of call for GAM? I think they need to fight back. I don't think they want to let this one just go quietly to the late game. So where do they fight next, Yulwei?
So they need to make something happen with a very strong, with Easy Love on 2 items right now. Very strong position for MF. She has a lot of damage, and if she can hit like a 4 or 5 man ultimate for, let's say, 1.5 seconds, that should be enough to win the team fight for GAM. It's going to fall off because, of course, we have Bart in the enemy team he's able to stop that from happening immediately. Ooh. So it's not easy for GAM. They have a chance if they can look for maybe something like an overextension for Cerberus. If they funnel in too deeply for this turret, for example, there could be a chance there to look for a pick.
Now, something else to comment on is it looks like we might have the double damage item coming in from a Volibear. Will 𝗖𝗄𝗃 bring some vindication and show that if you go top lane, just build some damage? He's trying to find a way in. LL is very far away from the team. 𝗁𝗃 finds 𝗖𝗄𝗃. He's just getting blown up here. And look at the prediction there on that Bard ult. 𝗬𝗎𝗏 gets locked up. There's the 𝗂𝗎𝗏. And it's a double kill now for 𝗬𝗏. They are charging forward. The team fight coordination is unrivaled. Maybe a bit of a failure there on 𝗬𝗎𝗏, but it doesn't matter. Stream.
Hey, what?
Stream, no. Don't die. Is it dead for you as well?
Oh no. Seems like it's dead. Yeah.
Okay, it's dead on both of us. Okay. If it dies for both of us, it means it's not our fault. Apologies, everyone. The source. This is an issue with the Vietnamese stream, which of course we restream from. So yeah, we can't actually do anything about it, but you have a nice little freeze frame. Can our analyst desk just, are you guys ready? I'll throw back to you because we're seeing casters. I'll talk to you guys once we have a game once again. You guys can break down what's been going on so far.
Right, is it back to us now? Hi. Okay, that caught me a little off guard. I was just having a bit of a discussion, in the Discord group that, is this perhaps just a CES off week, or is this, a bigger issue altogether? What do you guys think? Because the moment I said that, they they just sort of turned it around. So it looks like I'm jinxing myself, but please take it from me.
I mean, the early game points still stand, right? The early game problems 𝗬𝗏 has showed in the last two games, such weird contests all around. Like, why are you going for those? Vinnie, what do you think?
Yeah, it does look quite out of character, but I think, the early games are out of character, definitely, from what we've seen over the past couple of weeks. It's more looking like what we saw in the early weeks, like week 1, but that even then they didn't really make weird decisions like that call around the Scuttle Crab.
Oh, Scuttle, yeah,
and
the first
Rift
one.
Herald
Oh, man.
the Rift Herald as well, even, but they just got knocked down due to I guess like laning strength and things like that. But yeah, at least they're showing they can team fight, though that can be in part to the draft. I'm sorry, I'm sort of blown out by what the hell 𝗖𝗄𝗃 just did. He teleported behind and just ran through the enemy team and out to his own, and it's like, I was waiting for the big ult into the middle of the clumped up 𝗬𝗏, and then so much damage, and then you get the follow up, and then nothing actually happened. He just ran on through and died.
I mean, Volibear,
I guess
as the soul engage, it's really not working. It's
No, it's not.
I guess the question now then becomes, right, where do we go from here? Because we saw a very strong early game showing coming in from GAM, right? They got a lot of things that they would want in the early game, but right now what we're seeing is, CES having a little bit of a resurgence. They're coming back and, they're starting to win the game. Do you think they're going to be able to close it out? Or is there going to be more hiccups on the way that allow GAM to take it back?
Yeah. Okay.
Vinnie, please.
Yeah.
Go. Sorry.
Okay. So, I think there's probably going to be a few more hiccups just from what we've seen out of 𝗬𝗏 so far, but I think we're already seeing the comp difference come through. Because 𝗬𝗏 is having quite a rough. Not 𝗬𝗏. GAM is having quite a rough time finding fights on their terms unless they're able to set up position and wait for 𝗬𝗏 to come to them. So if 𝗬𝗏 can keep a tempo lead at all, which they've just gotten with the Baron, it's gonna be draft diff. I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think 𝗬𝗏 should have lost this game from level of play, but they are going to get the victory here just because of draft diff, as you said. And this is going to bode well for the third game, where maybe we get a very close affair to see who gets the match of the week.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm quite disappointed with Cerberus today. I think GAM was playing a very good game. They are punishing Cerberus in every step of on the way. So it's looking like GAM is stepping up their game. But I hope Cerberus can also step up theirs to their usual level, so we actually get the high-level clash.
All right. I do believe we have a game coming back for everyone. So Yulwei, you're going to be joining every day once again, and we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you, everybody. Apologies once again. We can't do anything if there's a tech issue in Vietnam. Shockingly enough, us in Germany and Australia can't actually help them out very much. We kind of just have to wait and see. And judging by the fact that neither of us speak Vietnamese, we don't even know what's going on. But it doesn't matter, because we're back on Summoner's Rift. Cerberus have just secured a third Drake. They could go up to Infernal Soul in just 5 minutes. And you guys were doing some good analysis. You were stealing all of the points we could use the rest of the game. But go ahead.
They also broke the last the two mid lane turrets with the Baron push. So a lot of control now over the bot side jungle. I'm kind of curious if Cerberus wants to opt into the Baron Dragon trade. Of course, Baron comes up way earlier, but it doesn't mean everyone has to run at Baron immediately. Of course. Quite a risky objective at this point. You actually have a lot of sustain.
Really good for them. I think it's a very high priority objective.
Yeah, I feel like in this game you would have liked Mountain Soul to really be absolutely unkillable, but of course Infernal Soul just gives so many stats, so much extra damage. It's for sure a high priority objective and should be higher priority than Baron in almost every case. There are some fringe cases where maybe with a split pusher, maybe with a backdoor opportunity, Baron might be better. When this game, that's not the case. We're probably going to slow down a little bit here. There isn't much to fight around, especially if Cerberus doesn't want to go for the Baron. The GAM is not going for the Baron anytime soon, so it's probably just going to be a little bit of a farm fest. And then the big clash in 3.5 minutes around Infernal Soul, where GAM has to contest.
Yeah, and of course, it is risky for Cerberus to go to the Baron, even though at the moment they are ahead. They do have a very strong composition at this point in the game. The Baron pit itself, the geography of that area, definitely is good for GAM. The Graves ult, the Misfortune ult, and the Volibear ult love that clumped in big AoE opportunity, so it's a bit dangerous.
They are playing against Bard, though. So
That's
Bard
true.
is the one champion that can actually just open up a channel and get his team out safely. We saw that in the video pointed out. Of course, he is the one champion that actually can just warp everything Baron or the Baron pit is known for.
They are going to start it up, and as you said, a smooth-toned German boy did tell us all about Bard's capabilities around this objective. We'll have to wonder who that boy was, as they are going to turn around the stun hit onto Slay. Bullet time is already used. Zuhao needs to be careful as Levi's dealing the damage, but they've gotten one big ult. But they disengage the Baron.
Not the biggest fan of this execution from Cerberus. I think they had Baron in the back there. They had so much damage, so much DPS. You can always disengage with Bard, but it's not over. GAM trying to funnel into this choke point.
Yep, that is a bit dangerous. Dia1, he's in trouble. There is a lantern there if he wants it. He'll take it out. We still have shuffle potential from 𝗀𝗄 at the moment. It's all on a knife.
Did they know that Levi used his smite?
I don't think they know that, or they would be burning this much harder. But then again, maybe they do. As Baron is on 4,000 health, they're going forward onto Slay. This is really risky. Ron OP has been killed instantly. Zuhao so low. This is going badly as GAM are winning this fight. 𝗀𝗄's got to do everything, and so far it looks like he might, as it's only LL and 𝗀𝗄 taking on Levi and Dia1. This is absolutely huge here. 𝗀𝗄 showing why we have so much respect for him, as it looked horrible for Cerberus, but he made it okay.
Cerberus, calm down. You don't ever have to engage in this game. Let GAM engage. You had Baron on your side. GAM has to come into you. You're such a big positioning advantage. Why would you ever try to flash forward?
LL, he's used his slice and dice. That's a huge mistake. He did not need to slice and dice that wave. He is going to be an easy kill here. That's just sloppy.
It's not going to do much. Okay, never mind. There's a TP.
There is a TP. They've spotted it. As 𝗀𝗄 is here, he's charging in. Look at that bird go. Getting those wings working. Thought there might have been a recall to catch. But in the end, we'll just go back to his cage.
What a useless play was that? Okay, I guess if you get both kills, you can go for Baron, I suppose, but it's super risky, and if you don't, you could just wasted your TP, as you did now, so, strange, very strange. I'm not sure what is going on in Cerberus's brains right now. Brain Machine is for sure turned off. I think that was where it was the pause.
The GAM magic,
what the pause was for.
Siren song. I keep telling you, Yulwei, the Siren song is pulling that ship towards the rocks. And now we have 15 seconds on the final Drake, should Cerberus get it, of course. They want this Infernal Soul. Go ahead.
Yeah, looking for a flank. Look at his positioning here. I think 𝗷𝗏's likely to go there, though.
No,
so
he
has to strike now.
He does, and they sniff this one out. 𝗖𝗏 so close. This is dangerous. Will Bear get bird as 𝗖𝗏 has been found by him? There is the wall. It doesn't knock 𝗖𝗏 back. It does isolate him, though. That Bear goes down instantly. A koala for sure. There's a Bardolt buying LL time, and now they're gonna turn this one around. 𝗧𝗍 is the next target. Hits a flay, but it doesn't matter. And Cerberus charging forward. Just go back to the dragon, boys. You do not need anything more. They do look like that's the decision they'll make. Artemis is in some trouble. Goes into the GA. Dia 1's the target. 𝗬𝗏 going low. He goes down. That's a disaster. 𝗎𝗏𝗏 will go as well. Can they kill Levi? That's a big one. Exhaust. This should be the easy kill. And Graves has been chopped. They can take the dragon. They have a 𝗪𝗟. And it was messy, but they've got the Infernal Soul.
Why have we regressed to this? No, Cerberus, you were supposed to be the chosen ones. What are you doing in this game? And they're going to win this game. Oh my god. They're going to get back into their rooms and say, we played this game correctly. We won in the end. What the...
I think Cerberus is actually pretty good at self-reflection. I think they know that this is not as clean as perhaps it should be, as they definitely were meant to be the chosen ones, but at the moment they are falling for GAM's tricks. But at the moment, their composition is letting them do the magic even a little bit better. They've got an Infernal Soul. They've got a Baron. They have a 5k gold lead. Cerberus is looking triumphant, but how did they do it?
So don't get me wrong, the start of this is really good. Very good zoning from LL. No one can follow up on 𝗖𝗏. 𝗖𝗏 is just instantly dead. Super useless champion anyway. So there we go. They get a kill. They have perfect position just at this point. Kill 𝗧𝗍. Okay, you can kill 𝗧𝗍. No problem. Turn to dragon. Turn to dragon right now. What are you doing? Artemis, what are you doing? Artemis, why are you running for? What is going on? Look at him. What is he doing? That is so useless. Oh god! And the 𝗬𝗏, the jungler, dies forwards when you started this fight to get Dragon Soul. Why would you then turn away?
But we come back to live with another fight because it wouldn't be the VCS without the analysis being cut off.
𝗎𝗏.
That's a very nice Bardolt onto 𝗎𝗏𝗏. He's in trouble, but 𝗖𝗏 wants to dive in. This is a really bad corridor. The bullet time doing so much damage, and GAM win the fight.
Yeah, good choice to fight there and chase them down. You had Baron, so with Baron you can't go to lanes because it's just too dangerous.
Come on, mate, drop that attitude. I can taste the salt from here. I'm gonna put you on my fish and chips, mate. Let's get some fun. This is a good game to watch. Stop your whinging, mate.
Oh my god.
No. I understand your frustration, but don't you dare. This is the VCS that we all know and love. I'm having fun. I'm sure chat's having fun. At least I hope they are. But this is quite the game. Let's have a replay here, and I think we can describe this one as 𝗎𝗏𝗏 being Neo from the Matrix, because this was bullet time.
Well, a very good disengage. I actually think GAM played this almost perfectly. After 𝗎𝗏𝗏 got cored, very nice positioning from 𝗖𝗏 and 𝗧𝗍 to immediately jump forward and buy space for 𝗎𝗏𝗏 to get back. Of course, he had to, I think he lanterned out to get into the better position. Didn't even flash in the fight, if you look at the timer.
Yeah.
So it looked like he was sure to be dead there, but very good counterplay for 𝗖𝗏 and 𝗧𝗍. In the grand scheme of things, it's not going to do much. It's going to delay Baron push and might actually protect the inhibitors. The question is still, how does GAM ever win a fight from this point? I guess if Cerberus funnels into every choke point. Again, yeah, maybe. So good teleport here. They might still be able to use this Baron to a little bit of an effect and take mid lane inhibitor. Slay.
It looks like it, and Slay's been caught. That's not good at all, as the inhib does fall. No waves in the right position in the other lanes. Surely they don't try and end the game here. Cerberus, that would be very...
I mean, it's only there for
bold.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and only 10 seconds remaining on Baron. That is not going to be enough.
Let's back on out. They were just kind of waiting for the wave, I think, as they will push this in. Do they go for the reset? Baron's gone. But of course, they still have the big damage from the Infernal Soul.
And I mean, they can still push in. Of course, now actually
Levi
force the
takes
bullet
the
time as well.
Yep.
So there isn't much to accomplish right now on the map. So I hope Cerberus is going to move into a little bit of a 1-3-1 or something to pressure the side lanes. You have a free push in mid lane now with the inhibitor down, of course. So they are going to wait for the big objective to spawn. It's Elder Dragon in 2 minutes and Baron in 2 minutes 20. So you can just go Elder, Baron, finish. Very easy to execute. Mid lane inhibitor will still be down at that time. So all the advantages for sure are in Cerberus's way, or Cerberus's favor. So it's going to be a Cerberus victory, almost 100%. But how clean is it going to be?
You are so much braver than me to make that call in a GAM game. I would never count GAM out because
I mean,
they don't.
Maybe if they have a better composition, but they can't do anything with this comp. We have seen it time and time again. The only way they can win a fight is when Cerberus overextend into a corridor, and even then they only trade a 2-for-1.
You think GAM plays by the rules of League of Legends? Ha! You still haven't realized this is a shadow game. This doesn't make sense. But you are right, of course. Cerberus is in a very dominant position. It would be difficult for them to lose this one. They are just going to wait for the objectives to spawn. Of course, the one way, in all seriousness, jokes aside, Elder Drake, you steal that and GAM's back in it.
I mean, they are back in it for the Baron. They probably get Baron afterwards, but I'm not sure if they can even use that to do anything.
I mean, Elder Drake, yeah, it's pretty big, dude.
Yeah, the problem is when you can't start a fight, Elder Dragon doesn't really take effect, right? So, I mean, you can be shiny and have the velvet suits and the white, whatever the Elder Dragon is, glisten white or whatever.
Yeah,
and if you still can't get on top of the enemies, it's not going to amount to much, right? So here we go. This could be the last stand for GAM.
Yep. I mean, GAM has to contest this one if Cerberus get it, the game ends. So they have to contest. Cerberus doing some good zoning as the Drake is spawned. This is a big one. The big boy Drake, of course. He is a large lad. As his health bar is dropping very, very quickly. GAM coming in from the side. Levi wants to dash over the back wall. Takes a lantern. Are they just going to burst the Drake? No, they're going to go for the fight. 𝗖𝗄𝗧 has to jump out. 𝗁𝗿𝗵𝗺 once again. Good engage. 𝗚𝗏𝗻𝗺 has gone into the GA immediately. Has the flash to reposition. There's the Elder Dragon steal. Levi, he does not miss as he gets that one. But will they be able to win the fight? They can get some back. A lot of damage being dealt. 𝗖𝗄𝗧 will pick one up. He goes on to Tier 1. Be careful, boys, you've got a health threshold. There it is, the triple kill for the bird. He's teleporting to the enemy base, and Levi got the heroic steal, but will it be enough?
No, it's not going to be enough. Look at 𝗖𝗄𝗧. 𝗖𝗄𝗧 has to do it all. He is a very sad volibear, and 𝗖𝗄𝗧 is probably going to 3-shot him at this point. So
he's
he needs
low,
some damage from 𝗖𝗄𝗧. 𝗖𝗄𝗧 is close to the threshold.
Yeah, that's dangerous, but it doesn't look like
look
it matters.
This.
As 𝗚𝗏𝗻𝗺 goes forward, the kill comes in, the white flag is raised, the tanks are in reverse, and Cerberus bring us to 1-1.
It's the match of the week, and those never disappoint. We are moving to match point for either team, and Cerberus fight back. After 2 sloppy early games, they are finally here to show their mid-game. So, what do you guys? What was your guys' impression from the last 15 minutes?
You were supposed to destroy the int, not join it.
Yeah, indeed.
Hello. We're gonna go to break. We did mess up a little bit. I did not expect to be on camera. But we'll be right back for some actual analysis right after this.
Yeah.
This is Cosmic Everyday coming in to say that was my fault. We're meant to go straight to break. Good job, everyone.
Too long
And welcome back, everybody. We are just about going into game number 3 of our match of the week. Always interesting to see, 3 matches for our most hyped match of the week. So far, it's been interesting. But before we dive into actual analysis, let's go over who we think is going to be the MVP of that game.
Really, it's only one choice, right? The one who the draft was centered around, the one who dominated all the team fights, got the big shuffles in. It's Yado.
It's not Kiaya? No. Yeah, it's Yado. 100% Yado.
Definitely played very well.
Really good performance out of that guy. Just smashed the team fights on Azir.
Maybe unbind TP, but other than that, yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit weird, but
yeah,
can't win them all.
But let's move on to our proper pre-game analysis. As with most game 3s, you either love to see it or you hate to see it. So, which one of the above is it gonna be, gentlemen? Yulwei?
I actually really want to see what both teams can do when the draft is a little bit more even. First game, GAM looked like a better team. Second game, I argue for the first 20 minutes they looked like a better team again. And so there's only one because of draft advantages. So maybe if GAM can click on the correct champions, I feel like they should be favored now.
Yeah, if GAM doesn't completely toss the draft in the trash, I think they have a very good chance at just running over Cerberus again, like they did in game 1, and we are gonna have a very upset every day because that means GAM is gonna keep winning, with player difference being the king thing.
Well,
right, but
sorry,
go
ahead.
Please. Go ahead.
So I just want to say we have been very critical of GAM, and we have been kind of annoyed that GAM has been winning in the league because it kind of makes the league look bad. But I actually feel if they play like today, it's not the case, because they have shown better macro, they have shown better objective timing and reset timing. So I'm actually happy with GAM's play so far. They have also finally shown some more mid lane champions than just Jace.
Not through choice. And really, they haven't shown that much. We've seen the Karma already, the split.
Fair point.
And the Tristana is a known It's a known quantity from Tier 1. Though we haven't actually seen it the split, I don't think. I'd have to check that. But so it's good to note that he can still play it, at least. I would like to see him on something more like a Syndra, or if that ever gets through, or an Oriana, or something more traditionally meta. But I mean, if it's working and they are playing the map quite well, so yeah, we can't fault them up too hard.
Yeah, for sure. I think the main issue that is worth talking about right now is what the heck is going on with CES, because sure, they won the second game, but like you said, Yulwei, GAM definitely looked like the better team on the day so far. Now, are they just having an off week, just saying, hey, let's not practice as much since we only have one actual match to deal with this game? Obviously, this week rather. Obviously, if they lose this one, they're still firmly at the top of the standings. So what do you think is going on as we hop into draft? You guys can just discuss that really quickly.
Yeah, that's such a hard thing to say just from observing the games, right? Maybe they said, okay, it doesn't matter. We only play one series here. We have secured first place. We can just coast I guess GAM is the hardest game anyway. So let's just have that at the end of the split.
Maybe allow me to actually give you a proper question to answer. My bad there. How do you think that, given that they obviously still want to win the series, how do you think they can really bounce back after, not really looking the best from the previous few games?
Just drop the early game contests, right? Vinnie, maybe you want to chime in as well. In my opinion, just drop the early game contest and you're fine. Your team fighting is still looking good.
Yeah, even if this is an off week, and you just play for what you know, play for those team fights. You managed to smash it with 𝗬𝗏 and Artemis doing quite a lot of work in those late game team fights. So just draft around that. Yeah, just draft to your strengths, and it seems today your strengths are late game team fights.
Yeah, for sure. Right now we are going to see the Lucian have it a little bit cheeky. Is this a DR1 champion by chance?
Yeah, absolutely is.
Definitely
Absolutely is. Was banned in the last game.
Yeah.
Got buffed in the last patch as well, so he's quite strong. Yep. Double ADC already. It's a very squishy composition. I would actually like to see. They are both quite short range and immobile. I guess Lucian is not immobile, but once you catch him,
Ashe has quite a long range. She's one of the highest ranged AD carries.
That's true. She's 600, but still she can't move away. So I feel like full hard engage is actually viable now. You'd go for a little bit more hard engage on Cerberus' side. We see Artemis once again going to his Kalista.
I'd almost like to see
ADCs.
Yeah. We're seeing Kiaya go back to the Levi go back to the Gragas, which he performed very well on in game 1, and I would like to see very heavy Nautilus bans, things like that, on the side of GAM, which we're not going to see, because those sort of easy picking type of champions that can just easily pick off the AD carries like that, especially Lucian, who is mobile. I think that's a really high value target that should be banned or picked by GAM, as they do have first pick right now.
Yeah, I like this Bard ban here from Cerberus.
I'm not dealing with it anymore. No Bard for you.
Yeah, Bard has been essential in the last 2 games. Won both of them against Thresh. So right now, number 1 AD support. Thresh ban follows. So they want to push GAM on the support champion pool. The 2 blind pickable supports, the 2 best supports in the league are banned. So we have to go to Nautilus, to Alistar, to Leona, maybe to an Enchanter too.
Set.
Oh, right. Set is still open as well.
Because that's been a fan favorite support in the VCS, as we all know.
Yeah, especially your favorite, as we all know, right?
Yeah, and I really like that they're sort of saying you're going to have to pick set here, because this means you can easily counterpick the set with whatever you want, really. Again, they're sort of set up that I'd almost say you don't want to counterpick the set and go for that Nautilus, which they are going to do. But the set setup would have let them pick an Enchanter and just completely demolish the bot lane.
Yeah, Enchanter doesn't really make sense though in the if you look at the comp. Yeah. Sorry, Spoods, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say that Set is Slay's preferred champion. I believe Slay has the most games on this
Yeah.
champion in the VCS right
Yes,
now.
yes.
And yes, we're just gonna leave the top lane for the counter pick. It looks like the Trundle pick there just shows to me, we're gonna dare you to pick a tank because now I'm gonna steal all your stats if you're gonna try to peel for your 280 carries.
Oh my god, GAM.
GAM, please don't do
GAM. Picking Ornn into Trundle Renekton is so dumb. What are you
I
doing?
would have really loved out of GAM here, which I don't think they're going to do with that Ornn Harbor,
Camille.
is I was going to say flex the Lucian up to top lane.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea too. Honestly, I
That
wouldn't
would have
mind
been
that too
very
much.
exciting. But no, we're just going to get Ornn, and that's going to be a huge hole of pressure where they got so much pressure in the early game by just ganking for Kiaya and Renekton. And there has to be a champion you play. Like, you can play Wukong into Renekton, and it's not a great early lane, but you
That's fine
still
though.
do
Yeah.
very well if you get jungle attention.
Could go
Yeah,
Camille for side lane pressure. Like, no one can respond to Camille from the enemy team. Camille, I think, would be a very strong pick here.
Jax?
Ornn. Jax is very bad into Renekton. Jax
I mean, it's
will
the same
hard
sort of thing
lose
as
lane.
Camille. You sort of lose early game, but then
Yeah, it's
come
true.
back
But
and
not
play
quite as hard as Jax, I believe. If I'm correct
Yeah,
there. I think
fair.
Jax is known,
Uh,
the Renekton is known as the hard counter to Jax.
I only say that because we've actually seen Jax from Kiaya, as we haven't
That's
seen
true.
Camille.
That's true. Yeah.
All
you're
right.
Um,
Well, Yulwei, you're gonna get a chance to express all your tilt once we get in game with Everyday. But Vinny, I'm gonna leave the floor to you for the final word. Who's gonna win this game? Whose draft is better? What do you think is gonna end the day? And end this match at least.
I'm having a hard time really picking out which draft I like more. I think overall I prefer Cerberus's, where there are obvious. Well, I mean the top lane hole in Gums is obvious, but Gum has looked better today. But Cerberus has at least drafted 4 team fighting. I'm torn.
It's hard to call.
Do I have to choose?
Yeah.
You have to choose. Come on. Flip a coin.
I don't have a coin on me, so whatever. We're gonna say Gum's the better team on the day.
All right. I will say that it's a good thing that it's difficult for you to say whose draft is better as we go into the pause. So I have a little bit more time to talk now. Yeah.
Time to find the coin.
Find the coin. You got it. But yep, it's absolutely great though because one of the main things that we were talking about is whether or not we're going to actually get a balanced draft because that's what we want to see in order to properly see which team is actually going to be the best in execution because we've seen very offset drafts throughout the day. So a 50-50 draft is definitely what we want to see. And Vinny, I think you wanted to say something.
Nothing. I was just flipping a coin.
Oh, what
I was
does
making a
the
joke.
coin say? What does the coin of wisdom say, Vinny?
It says heads, and I didn't actually assign the
Very smart move. Very smart move. Nice. I mean, Cerberus
Bring me on here to be
3
smart,
heads
right?
on their jersey, right? So it's probably Cerberus.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
So there you go.
I can work with that.
That's good reasoning. But then again, dogs also have tails, so
Fair.
But the tails aren't seen. But anyway, Yulwei, Vinny's got his thing, and since we have a bit of pause, I'm going to let you go on a bit of a ramble on who's going to take this match.
So, just generally, stop picking R5 Ornn. R5 Ornn is one of the worst things you can ever do to your composition, especially if you already see the enemy team composition has a Trundle. Like, why would you ever go R5 Ornn here? The Ornn doesn't really do anything for the ADCs. Like, a strong damage top laner would be so much better for GAM here in mid-game teamfights. I mean, mid-game teamfights is still where GAM's composition is best. They have a lot of setup, they have a lot of CC, a lot of wombo combo. But if they are behind at mid-game in, let's say, 2-3k gold, they can't ever win a fight because they don't have the damage. And it's so hard for Lucian to ever do anything in teamfights against Nautilus, because Nautilus can just mark him, can just bodyguard the entry, and just stand there and like, okay, Lucian, you try to go here, I Q auto you, you have to disengage. Okay, you come again, okay, I ult you, you have to go away again. Like, what is Lucian ever going to do in teamfights in this game?
Yep, but we are now in a game, so let's just transition over that. And Everyday, welcome back to the cast.
Thank you very much there, Spoods. And again, thank you for filling in for my hosting duties. Yulwei, it is just me and you to close the match of the week out. R5 Ornn, you've got to love it. We never have a whole series without something mind-blowing in draft. But of course, we do have 𝗬1's Lucian, which could make 𝗬𝗏𝗏's life a bit of hell. Lucian into Orianna is not a lot of fun to be on the Orianna side of.
Yep, lane, and it has to be win lane, win game in this case for GAM. Because as I just pointed out, Lucian in the late game into Orianna, even Kalista, and of course Nautilus is just impossible to pilot. So Lucian has to get off to a great lead and go to a side lane as quick as possible. He has to dodge away from all the team fights. Whenever he sees more than 2 people grouped together, he just runs away to the opposite side of the map. That is how this team composition has to function, because Lucian just can't ever attack anyone. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's a strong enough champion that 𝗬1 could work his magic and maybe get a solo kill or 2, and then just run away with the game anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I am certainly worried for 𝗬𝗏𝗏's health. It's not easy playing into 𝗬1 on a 𝗬1 champ. He was the split MVP last split for a reason, and it wasn't close. At least not by our ranking, which is the only ranking that makes sense. As, yeah, he was by and away this split MVP. As we do see the early shove in here for LL. He gets all those minions under tower, but 𝗬𝗏𝗏 will be just fine. That's how the matchup goes. What other points of pressure are we looking at here? The bot lane matchup, which way does that go?
Ooh. Ashe is quite decent into Artemis here, so I feel like this should just be an even matchup, even though we all know Kalista for her strong early game, especially with this rune choice that we always see. I feel like Ashe should actually control this wave. As we can already see, she's using her range to stay out of range for Kalista and just harassing her from a safe distance. So this should be controlled by GAM, but not really won by GAM. I feel like they have control and probably move first, but they don't really win the lane in terms of straight up 2v2 fights or even CS.
Yep. I think that makes a lot of sense, as we do have both junglers completing the first part of their routes here. It was pretty dead even, nothing fancy in the jungle. They're going to split the 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, and this is a quiet first few minutes. You might say, well,
already better.
3.5 minutes in, what are you talking about? Of course it's quiet. Well, if you've been in the VCS for long, you'll know that 3 minutes is definitely when action can occur, and with 𝗬1 not hitting the piercing light, it gets called off. Both junglers showing down in the bot lane. Slayy takes a lot of damage. Here we go.
A little bit of early trading here and there. Levi, I think, had a split second opportunity there to go flash E and maybe make the kill happen. In the end, a good positioning from Yasuo, and 𝗬𝗏𝗏 also going towards the top side of his lane, so to be reinforced quickly by Yasuo, or if a gank were to occur.
Yep.
In the end, it's still kind of a negative trade for 𝗬𝗏𝗏, who had to reset, but the reset was still fine in wave positioning, so not much happened. No one blew any kind of summoner spell. Jungle is still even. Mid lane is still even, and we are moving to a very quiet early game. At this point in the game, last game, we already had the first blood in favor of GAM. So already a good start for Cerberus.
They've definitely improved. I think the reset in the mid lane's actually fine for 𝗬𝗏𝗏. He was on low health. Against 𝗬1's Lucian, you don't want to be that low with the Ignite. I think just taking the even reset to get your health bar back is super valuable. As Levi is looking up towards the top side, but look at the bot as 𝗁OP has to flash away. The volley comes in, and 𝗎𝗏𝗏 picks up first blood, and it might be 2 as LL falls in the top lane.
Wins on every front but mid lane. What happened to GAM? Suddenly they're winning top lane in a bad matchup. Well, of course, a gank. And then bot lane is just straight up 2v2 while 𝗬1 is just farming even in mid lane. This GAM has transformed from the spring split, where solo kills always started in the mid lane. Instead, now 2v2 kill And this is such a bad sign for Cerberus' bot lane, who also used a lot of summoner spells. But let's take a look at bot lane first. I think 𝗀𝗏𝗏 just wants to start a fight here. They get a lot of damage on 𝗬𝗏, but in the end, 𝗀𝗏 accepts that Artemis dropped too low, so he wants to run away. The flash...
It was questionable.
Not sure. I think he could have dodged the Haymaker towards the side and then flashed after Haymaker, because he still got hit by the Haymaker. Of course, not by true damage, but still by the AD damage. He might have been dead anyway. So yeah, it's with 2 all-in lanes, it's always risky, and one is going to die. So in the end, 𝗀𝗏 had to pay with his life.
Pillar up on Dia1 here. He's just going to try and turn it around. He lit Yardo on fire to zone him back. And look who's here. 𝗧 is lurking in the bush. Can you hear his music? The set intro music's playing, but he won't run to the ring. Going to be a disengage.
Interesting path for 𝗧. For sure, would be surprising to see the support come from the top side of the map. But in the end, it's level 4 set, so, I mean, what is he going to do? Cerberus once again start the dragon first, and they have secured first dragon in every single game so far. Will happen again, while they are on a disadvantage. So I feel like GAM has kind of disregarded bot side a little bit too much in the last 3 games. Of course, we all know and love GAM for their top side focused game play style, where they just don't care about bot lane. And I mean, it has worked out so far. Bot lane can definitely fend for themselves.
Yeah,
but they still lose the first early objective.
It's very true, of course. And 𝗧 looking forward here, but doesn't quite find anything. And this is a good start here for GAM. Of course, they lose a Mountain Drake, but not the biggest deal, at least not for a while. It is a good Mountain Drake. There will be 2 members of Cerberus that do build some resistances, so it will give them the value, but in the end, it's still just 1 Mountain Drake. Not the biggest.
Yeah, and there's no Jace, there's no Varus, so no one who really hates early Mountain Drake. Everyone is basically based on DPS, especially the 2 ADCs, so they don't really care too much about Mountain Drakes. DPS is going to pierce through 1 Mountain Drake with no problem whatsoever. So yeah, in the end, it's not a big deal. GAM still hasn't gotten in a position to ever get soul though in this whole best of 3. So I think that's something they have to identify when they go back to the to the review sessions and see, okay, we might have to place a little bit of a higher priority on Dragon.
Yeah, but that said, this early game is still going very well for them, as all lanes are in a good position. Top lane, I mean, even with the assist, 𝗖𝗏 is struggling, but hey, that's the matchup. It's Renekton versus 𝗚n. Levi floats around the mid lane, and known, he did throw a barrel. They're setting up for the Herald. Will Cerberus contest this? Ooh, okay.
Yes, Cerberus has already swapped in. So, Yardo doesn't get the blue, but that's quite bad. Look at his mana pool. He might have to reset here. He doesn't have spellbooks, so no teleport. Can he get into position to have enough mana? 𝗀𝗏 also not level 6 yet.
Ooh, 𝗀𝗏 gets a little bit caught out. They're using everything on him. He can't get away. He had no flash. 𝗬𝗏 got too close as well. The Ornn Horn is going to knock him up, and it's a disaster for Cerberus. No, it didn't actually knock him up. He flashed it, but that's going to be the Herald. Easy for GAM, and they're looking hot this early game.
And once again, the same that happened in the last 2 games happens again around Herald. Why are you contesting so, like, I'm not sure what to call it. It's like lackadaisical, like very. I'm not sure how to describe it, but it's just they contest, but they don't really call the contest, and then in the end they just give up lives for no reason. What is 𝗀𝗏 doing here?
I don't understand.
Like, why is he turning back towards River? He saw that everyone is on the Herald, and there are 4 members here. Why would you try to wander in there as a lonely support player? He even forces the flash from 𝗬𝗏. Or 𝗬𝗏 kind of did that to himself. So once again, very questionable plays and calls from Cerberus, and they fall behind 1k gold.
Yep, that they do. Once again, Cerberus getting hammered in an early game. We knew, of course, that GAM was the better early game team, no question, but this is just mistakes happening. It's not lane prowess, like just Dia1 and 𝗖𝗏 being fantastic players. It's bad calls out of Cerberus, which is definitely a cause for concern. I have to hope they tighten
on average,
up.
Cerberus. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Cerberus has actually a higher gold difference at 15 minutes. And of course, some of these stats are kind of skewed by their early game performances against some of the weaker teams. But still, they have higher gold deficit, gold advantages compared to GAM, and at 15 minutes, they have a better early game rating over at Oracle's Elixir. So it's really not that GAM is just miles ahead of them statistically in early game. That's not the case. It's quite surprising to see Cerberus fall this far down.
Yeah, they're not playing. They're not playing their controlled style that they normally do. Normally, they get these early game leads because they are just in better places all the time to catch waves, to get objectives, to get the team fights that suit them. So far this series, it's not happening. Like 𝗀𝗏 walking forward there, why has 𝗀𝗏 done that? He's one of the best supports in the league. He doesn't do that.
It's just very disjointed so far. And these lukewarm contests, I think
𝗬𝗏's in a lot of trouble, but he will manage to flash away.
Facebreaker didn't connect there. Interesting interaction. I thought Facebreaker was in range, but not quite. So 𝗬𝗏 has to flash, but they avoid another death. There is the result in the mid lane. This will at least get 2 platings, probably 3. It's a lot of gold in DR1's pockets. DR1, you need to... Hello, DR1?
No one got the gold. That's a shocker, GAM. What have you done there? No one's got the local gold.
The jungler always gets the gold,
yeah, no one got
at least for the one
though.
charge.
That's a shocker.
Yeah, for the charge, I think he always gets this one. So the gold all went over to Levi.
I think there's extra.
There was no animation.
I think someone has to get the gold, or you actually don't get the charge gold. I think that's how it works. So that's a bit of a bit of a fluff there by GAM, just not getting any extra gold out of that Rift Herald. They do get an Ocean Drake and a red buff steal, which is of course mirrored. Not great there, GAM, as we head to Cloud Rift.
There really wasn't a reason to go away from the turret, especially for DR1. There was a very strange movement. So they pay back with the dragon, and they are still in control. They could have been in more control right now, but whatever, it happened. So what is GAM going to do now? Their composition is still trying to really fight at 1 item, 1.5 items. When Ornn is super strong still, when both ADCs finished their very strong 1 item power spike. So I feel like that's going to happen soon, and the next big objective to come on the map is the next Herald. So far, GAM has been able to mind control Cerberus into contesting every single Herald, so that should happen again. And then Cerberus could really throw away the whole series there.
Yeah, definitely potential for that. We don't want to see Cerberus just throwing the series. It's okay if GAM wins, of course, but we want to see both teams firing. It's not much fun if GAM breaks the unbeaten streak. Something we haven't really been talking about is GAM have taken the first real victory against Cerberus in a game. The only game Cerberus has lost before this one was with 3 subs. I don't count it, even though it does technically count. It wasn't real. The game 1 in this series, of course, was 100% legit, and should they win the series, that is a huge notch in the belt for GAM, as they are the old kings defending their crown from the new guard. Narrative.
And this reminds me a lot of last split. Narrative, there we go. This reminds me a lot of last split, where Flash was the only team to take a series of GAM. GAM was close to the perfect season. They went 13-1. The only series they lost was the first one against Flash. So, yeah, that might happen again for Cerberus. Mm-hmm. This is, of course, not over yet. It's only 1.7, 1.8k gold lead for GAM, so not enough to get over the concerns for the late game. There are definitely some very, very bad concerns in terms of for team fighting. DR1 hasn't been able to accelerate or get to higher economy, to get to more items early. So he's still probably going to fall off if he can't move into side lane. Orianna is still scaling up, still level 10, so right now not very strong. But
Orianna makes GAM's life very hard. It's very hard to be DR1, Easy Love, and Slay into the Orianna. That zone control is very, very scary. Of course, 𝗬𝗏's a little bit late to items, as he's had to go a couple of components, the Lost Chapter and the Seeker's Arm Guard, just necessary in the matchup. So his spike will be later. As Cerberus are having a look down to the bot lane. just want to secure the tower. That's good. Rotate the boys in and grab the first brick.
They deliberately made the choice to give up Herald number 2. Finally, we see Cerberus restrain themselves from actually contesting every single objective on the map. So good to see. Good to see. They will lose another turret. Yeah, GAM can punish this very heavily if they go top lane now with the Herald. They could get an inner turret here in response. Cerberus doesn't really have the quickest push in bot lane, so there's no chance for them getting another turret. So where's Herald going to be utilized? I actually would like to see it mid lane, because mid lane turret is already quite low. The one charge is enough to knock that one down. Then you have full control over the top side, which bodes well for a potential Baron fight later on, or Baron contest from Cerberus.
Yeah, it certainly does. As Cerberus has not really managed to damage the other outer towers. Top lane and mid lane looking very, very healthy. While the mid lane, as you very astutely pointed out, for them is incredibly low. Wouldn't be surprised to see Levi do his top side clear and then wander over to drop the Herald mid. This is...
Right now, we're in a little bit of a... Yeah, it's exciting, but not really because of what is happening on screen right now, but because what is going to happen later. Right now, it's a little bit of tension building. The storm is brewing.
You can smell the rain coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. There isn't much happening right now, because Cerberus had actually smartly adapted their game plan to just give up all the objectives. There isn't much you're going to lose. It's only Cloud Drakes. Cloud Soul is kind of useless for GAM, I'd argue. The mobility is not what they are lacking here. They need more damage. I think Infernal Soul would have been nice. Ocean Soul would have been helpful, but not really game winning. So
yeah, I mean, Ocean Soul.
Yeah, Cloud Soul is really not really what GAM wanted. So Cerberus can just give up all the dragons if they want to.
Yeah, I imagine they will start. I imagine they will try and contest them. Cloud Soul is actually pretty good for Cerberus. Cloud Soul is really good on Renekton and Trundle. Just as an engage tool. They don't need to fight this one. Fight the later ones. At the moment, I like this from Cerberus. They're doing a little bit more of a Cerberus style. They only fight when they actually need to. Yeah, are trying to defend the red buff, but a valiant effort is in vain. Slay and LL are having a rumble. There's the suplex. LL flashes the wall, but the enchanted crystal arrow. They want this crocodile. They're hungry, and they'll get a big old steak.
Slay just put him in his place. Slay is 4 levels down, just fearlessly walked up to the Renekton and told him, nope, I am the top laner now. Get in here. Get in here, Slay. Wow, that was a very, very Slay move. Slay is very, very strong on this champion, of course. His win rate, not the greatest. We saw that at the very start of our broadcast, 33% win rate, only winning 2 out of 6 games so far. But yeah, he's still a very good set player. And another kill to GAM, 4-0. And a 3k gold lead at 18 minutes.
And something worth mentioning that I'm definitely not stealing from any other source, this is an original thought, is while the Cloud Soul's not great for GAM, the Cloud Drakes are. The Cloud Drakes are insane for GAM. That ultimate CDR, they can just engage.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, sometimes the dragons can be better than the soul, especially for Cloud. I still think Cloud Soul is kind of undervalued in the community. It's better than it looks. Yeah. But not in this game. It's really not great in this game.
Yeah, I think it's the individual Drakes that are the big deal. They don't necessarily care about the soul. They'd love 3 Cloud Drakes.
Yeah, a lot of engaged potential for Easy Love. Basically gives Easy Love a free Essence Reaver. So one build last year that was played a lot for a few months, or for a few weeks even only, was Trinity Essence Reaver Ashe, full on engaged Ashe, utility Ashe. Essence Reaver actually first and then Trinity afterwards to go to 40% crit as soon as possible.
Video.
And you basically just shoot arrows everywhere and try to engage and try to look for picks. Yeah, that's going to happen here without CDR being built on the Ashe, just with a lot of Cloud Drakes, of course.
Yeah, exactly. That's very beneficial, and of course, that's ignoring Ornn, Gragas, as well as the suplex out of Slay. I hate, just for the record, that the community has started calling that the suplex. Even I have. It's not a suplex. He doesn't suplex. It's a power bomb. It's a different wrestling move. It's a power bomb.
Here, superplex. What is that?
I think that's just LS adding flair. Just adding a super
okay,
to suplex. Superplex isn't actually a thing. A suplex is a wrestling move.
Okay, fair enough.
A superplex is not. It's a power bomb, though. It's a power bomb. It's a different thing. The WWE fan in
what
me
does a
is upset.
suplex look like?
We will come back to it as there is an horn being blown. Artemis flashing away. A suplex is when you hit someone with your forearm and throw them to the ground. It's something you should never try and do in a real fight, but WWE aren't real.
That's not what Seth is doing?
No, he picks you up and slams you into the ground. The suplex, you don't leave the ground.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, fair enough.
It's never a suplex. But yeah, anyway, getting distracted here. No one cares about WWE. I mean,
there isn't much going on in the game, so that's totally fine.
Yeah, WWE. It's
I mean, 𝗚𝗙𝗥𝗕𝗥𝗕𝗏 ended early this week, so they finished their first round robin. So everyone coming over from 𝗚𝗙𝗥𝗕𝗥𝗏,
hello.
there we have 𝗚𝗙𝗥𝗕 number 2. We actually give you 𝗚𝗙𝗥𝗕 gameplay, bouncing waves back and forth, and never contesting
and you can already,
any objectives.
You can already tell how uncomfortable we are with that on the cast. We don't know how to navigate LOL states. We don't know how to do it.
Man. So it's still 3k gold lead. Good on Cerberus to keep it close here. They are grouping up around Dragon, coming up in 1 minute, so there isn't really much they can do right now. Baron has spawned, so at least the Dragon. Yeah. Baron, they have decent Baron speed. They have double ADC with the max health damage, or current health damage, of course, on Blade. So Baron speed is okay for GAM. It's not the best ever. They don't have a Zia or Karthus or Rice or something. So it's going to go down right now in like 20 seconds, I'd say, maybe 17 seconds. But what has GAM just done? GAM, for no reason, just gave up the mid lane turret. Just a little bit too lazy to get there in time.
Not great. A little bit of a GAM macro, and now they've been caught as there is the power bomb coming out. 𝗧 in some trouble, gets the big shield. He might be able to run away, but no, not quite quick enough. And the wolf will fall. Bad timing as well. 10 seconds on Drake.
So yeah, this will now give them free Dragon. GAM could run at Baron, but now they kind of lost their timing. Their 2 ADCs are still up. So they could have just tried the Baron here. And Cerberus seems to be aware of that. So they just send Artemis to solo the Dragon. Smart choice. Cerberus now needs to be careful not to get engaged on, because the ADC is not here. So good play from Cerberus. Very conservative.
About top lane, as this is just a free in a tower.
Yeah, I think they've made the choice to give this up. They basically traded Dragon and Kill for top lane turret, which is a fine trade to make, especially because now DR1 has to overextend very deep into enemy territory to push further. So I actually don't mind this too much. If you look at the gold, still 3k, and Cerberus has delayed the Dragon power spike. That is more focused on Elder Dragon this game than actually Soul, even more. So a lot of time to farm up, a lot of time to finally get to some items for Yado. He's on 220 CS and still has no items whatsoever.
He's got a super soaker.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, no items whatsoever.
Yeah, playing against this GAM comp, he is sort of like a firefighter trying to save a burning building with a super soaker. Not quite got the tools yet. But he'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and the first on items are coming in. So GAM in an even stronger position relatively. 3 on items already. So their actual start gold lead is 6k right now. And they should really try to make something happen. They're so much engaged, and the game is not going to get better for them. If the game stalls out like 10, 15 more minutes, Cerberus will be in such a good position to teamfight just with Orianna. So yeah, there we go.
There we go. The horn does not get a huge amount done. 𝗧 is caught. Can get the big haymaker shield, of course, as he is on the run. 𝗬𝗏 chasing, but they let him go. He is a quick boy. He's got phase rush. He is a very fast wolf. Ron P hits that wall, perhaps regrets it. He bops up easy love, but now they're getting a little bit pinched out. They need to be careful. There's not a huge amount of re-engage here from GAM. LL flashes over, but can't stun DR1, and they're just going to run on out of here.
Cerberus getting a little bit chancy. The fingers are itching. They really want to get going. Just wait 5 more minutes, guys. It's going to get better for you. You don't have to re-engage that fight. It's frustrating to not punish 𝗧, right, for his overextension. It always feels bad to just get the relatively squishy support get away with a big overextension, but in the end, nothing is lost, right? GAM didn't get any kills, didn't get any objectives, couldn't progress the game in their favor, so it's all going your way, Cerberus. You don't have to re-engage. Just calm down, let 𝗬𝗏𝗏 get to some items, let maybe even LL get to some items so he can be a backline threat. So, yeah, just scale up and chill.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it was really just LL's flash that was a little bit too antsy. The rest was fine. They didn't get punished. Slay is a quick boy. Look at him go. Dead Man's Plate, and of course the Q speed. That man is looking
plus
for
Cloud.
Yeah, plus Cloud.
Cloud Rift. On top of that.
Yeah, he's a quick boy. That's my point. That wolf is on the hunt. He's a wolf.
Also looking very cool. I actually really like support's set with this first item. Dead Man's Plate makes set look very, very cool.
Yeah, I always think it's set, as I've said many times, he's my favorite designed champion in the game. Like the way he looks. I always think it's a shame that his skin is quite bad. Mecha Kingdoms doesn't really suit him, in my opinion. I would have loved a wrestling skin.
We're going to get some more. I think wrestling skins are too calm for that.
He's getting a prestige skin. Very excited.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the last one of the year. Very, very excited for that. Even though I don't think I'm a top lane and not a support, and he's pretty rubbish top lane. Ooh, someone in chat, beach party set. Ooh, yes, please. Give me beach party set. But here we go. It is, of course, still the Omega lull state as waves are being bounced back and forth. Wards are being swapped by both teams. And we are taut as a bowstring.
There's absolutely nothing to talk about in this game.
There isn't. What have you been up to?
Waiting for gold.
Oh, but here we go. Finally, they do something. LL is trying to run away. There's the enchanted crystal arrow culling off from the side. Slay gets a big hit of true damage, but he'll go down in exchange. There's a shockwave onto Levi. He turns gold, and Cerberus are winning this fight. They're charging forward. They've got two. Can they turn it into a Baron?
How useless is the 𝗬𝗏? How useless is the 𝗬𝗏? It's like, what Lucian mid lane, man. I love watching Lucian mid lanes because it's very mechanical, but in team fights, it's so utterly useless.
Easy Love has to flash away as the Fate's Call did come in. The Riptide lands as well. It's actually not a Riptide, it's a Dredge line. As there is 𝗬𝗏 being found. You say how useless is 𝗬𝗏, but look at this man absolutely ripping up the backline. They finally turn around. But 𝗬𝗏, he heard you, Yulwei, and he was mad.
Yeah, he finally got into a position where he didn't have to fight front to back, which you really can't do on the solution. Instead, he wrapped around, waited for all the attention to go towards his top laner and his ADC, and then he was there to strike. He's still quite strong if he actually gets to attack, and we saw that in action. GAM salvaged the situation and are still in this game. It's looking kind of bad for GAM still, because in the actual team fights we saw what happened. Even though LL got caught without his flash available, no one had the damage to kill him, and GAM will try to get this Baron. And of course,
they have
no one really to contest.
Positioning. Backs are coming in for Cerberus, but GAM looks like they're just a little bit too scared. It was a damage check. Easy Love, of course, was very far away. Ooh, this is
only
close.
One ADC.
At the moment. 𝗬𝗏𝗏 is on the map as well. Both teams could move up to 3.
And there's one resource that GAM just doesn't have, and that Cerberus gets with every second. It's time. It's just time. Every second is in favor of Cerberus. Every second ticking over is better for their composition. And I'm so amazed that 𝗬𝗏 still doesn't have any items. Like, please, 𝗬𝗏, where are your items? Oh, man.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. It is a bit weird for sure. Let's have a look at the replay of this Baron
stopwatches, though. Yeah, let's just keep your eyes on 𝗬𝗏 and how he waits for his time to shine. He jumps on top of 𝗬𝗏. Of course, 𝗬𝗏 can't really go anywhere. There's the Baron, so he doesn't really want to go there either. 𝗬𝗏 also level ahead, and this is finally where 𝗬𝗏 can turn the team fights into skirmishes, and in skirmishes, Lucian can shine. In team fights, not so much. So from now on, I think GAM will just try to make everything about small skirmishes, try to separate different parts of the team fights, and just maybe try to Do we have a
Starting
Baron
the
here
Baron
now
up.
from Cerberus?
This is very
They
bold.
have so little Baron damage.
Yeah, look at Yado's mana
Their Baron
bar.
speed is...
This is low. He's got a blue
he
buff.
got the blue buff.
But it's still got a regen, though. It's very low at the moment. This is risky from Cerberus. Slow comes
Easy Love
out.
looking for an
There's
ultimate.
the Ornhorn. 𝗖𝗄𝗃 gets some good knockups here. The Fate's Call is used. A good shockwave, but it only hits tanky members. Then let's see what they can get done. Dia 1 is going to go down immediately. There's a shutdown. Levi hiding in the back of the pit, waiting for the body slam. And Cerberus, it looked dicey, but they come out on top.
Every day, there's just no way for GAM to win a 5v5. Dia 1 can't contribute anything. So he had to overextend to deal damage, but then everyone just turns on him.
This is still very risky here.
LL
LL goes forward, running forward. He's in the middle of 3, goes gold, and he's got no help coming. They're chasing down 𝗖𝗄𝗃. He's so tanky. This is, I don't know about this call here. It takes so long to kill Ornn.
It's a 1-for-1 for the top laners. So in the end, a 2-for-1 kill trade, and the gold is now only 2k gold.
Oh.
No, yeah, I think Baron would have been very risky though. So I don't really mind this call too much. I feel like that is an okay call to make. So the game is getting closer and closer, or closer to over. I actually feel like it's moving away from GAM, as we saw in the team fights. They really have to try and put Dia 1 in the side lane here.
Yeah.
Send him bot lane, never look back. Just try to get the inhibitor. You can even try to trade Baron for inhibitor. Just try to send him to the bot lane, because you are not going to get into a better position in the team fights. He even used the stopwatch, so that is not available anymore. I really think GAM needs to recognize that Dia 1 can't participate in team fights anymore. And even though you have Ornn, for some reason, R5 Ornn, thank you, just try to disengage with the Ornn. I mean, his ultimate knocks people up. You can also use this to disengage, so you don't have to go in.
We do have a replay here during the pause. We can see what's going on. Big shockwave, and the arrow missed. So a big...
Yeah, look at Easy Love. Easy Love, not a single auto attack. There's an auto attack on a ward. There's a W, so the second W and his ultimate. There's an auto attack on Zuhao, and he runs away again.
Yeah.
One auto attack in this fight. Yeah. Nice. Your double ADC comp is really working well. When one ADC gets turned on, the other ADC is not dealing any damage. That is a big problem right now.
It's so hard for Easy Love to do anything. He steps too far forward and he just instantly dies. This was questionable by LL. I understand what they're going for. They're trying to, like, he dies, but he holds up 3 members of GAM, but I mean, 𝗖𝗄𝗃 did the exact same thing.
Yeah. I feel like there was a little bit of a split call where LL just solve the situation. Usually go, okay, if I delay or if I get the stun on Levi, we can finish Baron. But at the same time, the other part of his team said, okay, we're just going to get the kill on 𝗖𝗄𝗃 and disengage. So kind of a little bit of a disjointed call there for the whole team, where 4 members go on 𝗖𝗄𝗃 and 1 member just jumps over 1v3 and is like, please get me out of here. Thresh, where's my lantern? Hello? Yeah, sad times.
At the moment, I think we're seeing the team fight coordination that we're so high on Cerberus for. You guys did both pick GAM to take this win, just based on how they've been playing this series, because it has been pretty good so far. This is not... Sorry? Oh, sorry, you picked Cerberus. Vinnie picked GAM. I'm telling a lie. You were split. I'm wrong. Sorry, I don't want to besmirch your name. My mistake. This is better than we've seen GAM in a very long time. People who are regulars to our cast will know we've been very critical of GAM for not playing particularly good League of Legends and just relying on mechanical skill. That hasn't been true this series. I think they've actually really, really stepped up. I wouldn't be upset to see them win it. But of course, right now, Cerberus looks to have all the control. Orianna doing her job, and I think based on how the players are sitting, we should be heading back into game. Hopefully.
Looks like we're heading back here. So one thing we were talking about, sadly our pregame, of course, was a little cut short, but we were talking about the champion pool issues GAM has been showing. And a lot of times they haven't been punished. The Jace, AP Shyvana, it's been a staple. They have collected a lot of their wins on Jace and AP Shyvana or Nidalee, and both got banned here. And I feel like Cerberus is winning the series not based on play, but based on coaching and based on draft. The second game was won in draft. We saw no way for GAM to win teamfights even after a good early game. And I feel like the third game is won in draft as well here, especially if they are able to close this out, of course. Dia 1 got baited onto one of his best champions. Lucian, he's incredible on Lucian. But I really feel like Cerberus deliberately left Lucian up and forced 𝗃1 into this position where Lucian was probably his best pick left. So now he's on a champion that can't teamfight. He got counterpicked with the Orianna, who struggled in lane, of course, but not enough to warrant the counterpick Lucian. So in the end, I feel like Cerberus is really reading this better.
I think Orianna versus Lucian is a very interesting matchup because I think we just heard about 200 people in chat go, what? As you said, got counterpicked with Orianna. It's not a lane counter. Obviously, Lucian smacks Orianna.
Yeah, not for lane.
In team fights,
for team
Orianna makes Lucian's life hell. As the Baron is being hit. The spears are stacking up. 𝗬𝗪 and 𝗚𝗔𝗠 are the ones on it. Levi on the approach. The hook misses. LL and here we go. This could be it. There's an enchanted crystal arrow. It only hits Ron OP. 𝗃1's got a flank. They turn on him. But here's the Ornhorn. 𝗬𝗪's getting blown up. Can he find a way out? No, he goes gold and he's been abandoned. They've killed 𝗃1. They're turning on to 𝗂𝗑𝗏 now. 𝗬𝗪 buying a lot of time. He finally goes down. 1 for 1, but it's a jungler dead.
Cerberus is really here to make the game interesting for us. There is no need to do any of this. There is no need to consistently run at Baron and just lose all your HP bars so GAM can actually fight you. Oh man, Cerberus, come on. Just clean it up a little bit. So, honestly, the best play for Cerberus right now is just to rely on vision control, try to contest dragons, and not overchase anything. We still see 𝗃1 with big struggles to do anything in team fights. He had his flash available, but didn't use it, so maybe a little questionable there. But we even saw 𝗂𝗑𝗏 had to overextend towards the side to even get any auto attacks in, and now he doesn't have his flash for the next fight. So even though it's a 1-for-1 trade, it really is not a 1-for-1 trade for the whole game. It's 𝗬𝗪 going down doesn't change anything.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was a kill on a jungler at Baron, which is the best target, I think, for GAM, just to make sure that pressure ended. Now, we pivot from the top side of the river. We go to the different quadrant as a Cloud Drake is spawning. If GAM gets this, they do get Soul. We've talked about how Cloud Soul's not great for GAM, but the 3 Cloud Drakes is lovely. Ooh, this is a tense one. Levi a little bit split from his team, but can't really be caught onto. He actually has a big flank now. I don't know if they know he's there. Now they certainly do. They're turning back. Predator's popped. The hook doesn't land. Cerberus head back into the river. Ron OP split, but he's okay. This is tense.
There is an argument to be made for... Oh, never mind. Ooh. Now Ron OP is going fishing again.
He's not catching much. He is...
Nope, really not.
Really not much of an angler.
Needs to go back to angler school, I think. This hasn't been the greatest game for Ron OP on this Nautilus. Too much Thresh and Bard for him. Ooh. Nautilus looking a little bit rusty.
He nearly caught on to Levi there, nearly snagged Gragas by the belt loop, but the belly bop was good
you're so close. Just send him bot lane. Send him bot lane.
𝗚𝗔𝗠 stacking spears up, has to hop away now. The dragon is getting a little bit low, but here we go. Slay in the middle of the enemy team. 𝗚𝗔𝗠 hopping around. 𝗃1 goes into the GA already. 𝗬𝗪 is a little bit caught. Here comes Levi. Yado's dead. That's the Orianna threat gone, and Cerberus, their health bars are rotting away, as that is going to be another kill for 𝗃1, and Cloud Soul for GAM.
It's going to be Baron as well. They're healthy enough to just turn to Baron if they want to. 𝗃𝗫 chasing down 𝗬𝗪 as well, so not even the threat of a smite still available. So this is going to be a big swing in GAM's favor, but GAM instead run in mid lane. Do they have enough time to finish this game?
It's very potential.
The time is so long.
I think they certainly do. They didn't lose anyone in that fight. They shred towers, and GAM are looking to take the first series off of Cerberus. They're coming in.
So now, all on Optimus. He still has GA, but 𝗃𝗫 is so strong.
He gets pulled in, goes straight into GA. Ron OP is dead, and it's 1v5. GAM are looking to take this game. The old kings defend their crown. The new guard were not good enough, and GAM take down the undefeated Cerberus and prove that dogs can bleed.
Wow, what a performance from multiple members in the last team fight. What an incredible team fight for Levi. catching multiple members out there with a very strong performance. Lei also over and over again getting in with his set engages, and GAM comes out ahead even after 10 minutes of a lot of doubt, with Cerberus' team composition looking stronger.
Yeah, where do you even begin with that sort of fight, right? And hello, I'm back again. Every day, thank you for that. Cast was great. I think all I can say really is, what a match of the week. Certainly wasn't what we expected coming into the day. GAM picking up a 2-1 victory over CES. Vinnie, you were watching the game with me. What do you think about what we saw?
I don't know. It seemed like it was very much Cerberus centered. Then they just ended up losing that team fight around the. I did not think they were going to win until all of a sudden they did, because Dia was immediately in the bounce house, and he just kept going up and down, like he did not get any chance to recover until he was in that GA. But somewhere 𝗖𝗘𝗏 assassinated the the Orianna somewhere along the way, and I was like, so huge shout out to 𝗖𝗘𝗏 for that fight.
Yeah, I think the best thing that I've heard Yulwei say this game, and it really just encompassed all of our sentiments on how this game played out, is, wait, what?
I said that way too often.
Yes. No, but it really did, it really did capture, the feel of this game. But let's really quickly move on. Who's your player of the series of game number 3?
Well, MVP for game number 3, I'm actually thinking I might give to 𝗖𝗘𝗏. I would give.
Really? Interesting. Okay.
I think, overall.
I feel like Levi would probably be my choice.
Ooh, split disc. All right, so 𝗖𝗘𝗏 and Levi. Is that right?
Yeah, I guess. If we have to settle on one, 𝗖𝗘𝗏, really? Did he do much?
He played Ashe. He hit arrows.
He hit a lot of arrows. He did a lot of damage towards the end there.
Fair enough. We can pick that, but player of the series, I think, is very obvious, right, Spoods?
Yeah, it is gonna be 𝗧𝗍. Let's get that graphic up really quickly. I do believe there will be an error on the champion's play, but overall, a very, very solid performance coming out from this player. Overall, what do you guys think? I think absolutely justified.
Yeah.
All 3 games were great. I think the first game on Bard was incredible. He was the better Bard today, in my opinion. 𝗀𝗏 had a decent Bard game, but 𝗧𝗍 was absolutely incredible. And the last game on Set, he made so much happen. I mean, Set's gameplay isn't the most exciting, right? He just runs at you.
Yep.
But he made it work. And in the last team fight, he caught 𝗀𝗏 and isolated Artemis. So quite a big contribution there as well.
Yeah, let's briefly just... Vinnie, you want to jump in real quick?
It was definitely... And even in the second game, he almost looked like he could bring out a win, getting crucial lanterns, like that massive fighter in the corridor. His ability to reposition 𝗖𝗘𝗏 was really important, and he played a really good Thresh game on top.
Yeah, for sure. But let's zoom out a little bit, right? Let's talk about the games as a whole, right? Because especially in game 3, I think it was super duper close. Now that we did see, a more or less even draft. I know you have some reservations about that, but it was basically about a 1k gold lead up until the 36-minute mark, and then suddenly they got a great fight and they won the game effectively. So what are your thoughts on where these teams are in the standings right now? Is it going to be CES over GAM or GAM over CES right now?
Oh, in the standings, CES, of course, is still ahead. But
yeah.
After this series, it's very unfortunate that we only get to see them once this week. I would really like to see both teams against different opponents now, because GAM in the last few series, they beat the best 2 teams in the league now. They beat Team Secret last week, and now they beat Cerberus as well. So they have really established themselves as another contender. I feel like there's a lot they're doing right now. Their team fights are looking better and better with 𝗖𝗘𝗏 in. So I feel like GAM is getting close to that top spot in the next power ranking.
Ooh. All right. So we'll have to see who, whether or not they're able to keep up their performances in the next few games that we're gonna see them play. Because obviously, one match isn't really gonna show all the difference. Vinny, are you in agreement with our 5-hit Mr.
Yep.
Yulwei over here?
Yeah, I
All right.
think we've got a little. We need to see more, but it's looking good.
All right. One thing that I did notice, right, is that GAM, they sort of understand that their power is mostly towards the top side. I've seen that they gank a lot towards the top side, and you can see this even in draft because they basically blind picked the Ashe for 𝗖𝗘𝗥𝗕𝗏 down in their bot lane. So do you think that they will be able to continuously find success just revisiting the top lane over and over again? Is this something that will continuously work for them, or do you think other teams are going to find them out? Vinny, why don't you start us off with this one?
It worked in 2019.
Okay.
Exactly what I wanted to say too.
Yeah,
They stomped the league with this style, so why not? Just do it again.
I think it'll be a bit. I think they'll probably need to add a few more to their playbook, a few more strategies to their playbook. But if they can refine this, I don't see there's no reason why it can't be a successful strategy for.
Yeah, I still need to see more champs from DR1. I am still concerned. His Lucian wasn't really great this game. He won the fight in the end just because of GA. But in the fights before, he cost his team. He couldn't really do much. He didn't go to the side lane. So for me, 𝗖𝗘𝗏 and Levi, great. I don't want to see R5 on for 𝗖𝗘𝗏 again, but whatever. He played a good game. But DR1, he played good games, but his champion pool is still a little bit of a minor concern for me.
Definitely could just be hiding those super spicy picks for when you really need them. Definitely don't have to pull them out against the first place team in your league or anything when they're playing like this. So definitely a good performance coming out of GAM. I think, like you said, if they actually pulled out another type of carry, not an AD carry in the mid lane for DR1 in this game, I think they would have definitely been able to close it out much sooner and much easier. But overall, I think good performance for both teams, really. I think we're gonna just throw it over to break really quickly. But before we do that, any closing thoughts from the both of you?
Was a very exciting match of the week. We definitely chose the correct match here, and both teams are now finished with round 1, 6-1 and 5-2. So potentially the two best teams. We're going to see some more clashes later on this split.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely some exciting matches coming up. The next one will be an exciting one as well. Flash taking on Team Secret. I believe they are number 2 and number 3 in the standings at the moment. Well, not at the moment, I think. Well, before the week started, they were number 2 and number 3. So definitely a very exciting match to keep your eye on. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back after a brief break for our series number 2 of the night. I would like to thank both my wonderful analysts over here, as well as every day, doing a wonderful job with play-by-play as well. We will see you in just a bit. Do not go anywhere. Stay here with VCS English.